making sure I can see what's going on, making sure I can see chat, making sure I can see everything. So hopefully this will be a good one, but I'll be honest, this one's going to be a bit more off the cuff than the other ones. Well, not like they haven't always been off the cuff. Oh boy. Yeah, I've just got spam here, I don't know where that's coming from. But yeah, I'm just trying to get to the live streaming tab so I can actually see what I'm actually doing. And now I can put it on the watch page so I can see exactly what I'm seeing. And yeah, I can see the site. Now I'm going to go and see if I can link this stream somewhere else. This might take a while. Well, it won't take a while, it won't take too long. It'll take about a few seconds. Right, there we go. So that should be handy. So yeah, basically what happened last time is that we didn't get our asses handed to us, but we got ourselves into a pretty sticky situation with the next area, and I'm not really sure I want to actually go to that next area yet, because I know it's going to get rough if I do, mainly because it's difficult. But what I want to do, like as you can see, we've got Traco Dunes, that's the next area, but I want to see if I can find somewhere else to go at the moment. But yeah, I just want to like see if I can do any extra side quests in Vezulia first. That way I can get a few more levels, maybe. I don't know. I just want to see things, try things out. That's basically the gist of it. But I think I need to get onto updates as to what's been going on, and basically the gist is that I've been pretty busy lately, but haven't really been busy doing content, if I'm honest. Oh, I got this one, didn't I? How to express yourself. Right. Yeah, I haven't really been busy doing content as of late, and to be honest, I don't think I will be for a while. As, yeah, it's... Oh, I see, that's the emotes thing. Yeah, we finally got emotes, pretty much. I'm not sure about the other quests. I'm sure there are some quests to do, but I don't know what we have to do in them. But yeah, basically the gist is that I've been pretty busy lately, and not really with content. So yeah, it kind of sucks, but that's just the way it is. So really, it's gonna be the waiting game for new content. Really, that's how it's gonna be. A stuffed animal. Like, I sleep with one. Like, is it normal to get stuffed animals? No.
Hate to say it, but as a guy, that wouldn't make me happy.
I was afraid of that. I always give my fellow coworkers handmade stuffed animals for each of their birthdays. But maybe I should.
Really?
You make every one by hand? That's a lot of work.
Yes, it is. But their reactions are never... I'll think of something else.
Yeah, I can't actually properly see the screen, to be honest, so I can't really see exactly what that dialogue is, because, like, in case you haven't caught on yet, I'm using a standard definition telly, so seeing the dialogue when I've got the, like, comments on the side, it's not really the easiest thing to do. But yeah, I need to find out where the next quests are. That's basically the gist of it. But one thing I can do is bring up the map to see what private actions need to be done, so I can do that. But yes, alright, I have basically uploaded all the videos that I can at the moment, and in the foreseeable future I don't really see any video content.
I know that something heavy won't do. It really is hard to pick a present for someone without them here.
Oh, right, right. I thought it was some things going on here. I didn't know, like, I didn't see Relia at all there. But, or maybe it was Fiora, I don't know. I couldn't tell, and to be honest, I don't give a shit if that's, like, a thing. Like, I don't really give a shit what was going on there, but really, what I do give a shit about is making content, and it's just, I haven't really been able to do much content recently. I mean, I have been doing content recently. If you've been watching my channel, you've seen content, but all that content has been scheduled and pre-recorded. I mean, aside from the last one that I did find some time to do that, but the last theory crafting video, which was in the making, but really, that's pretty much the last one that I can do for now, until I can get more time to do another one. But I have ideas as to what I could do with the next one, but it's about getting the opportunity and finding the time to do it. Because at the moment, it's just been finding the time to get stuff done. That's the gist of it. And I've been trying to find time to do like timestamps on my videos for my website, which it's time consuming because it means I have to rewatch all the streams and timestamp them. No doubt I'll be rewatching this stream and listening to me talking about timestamping, which, yeah. But I haven't even finished timestamping the last stream, and if you've only been watching my YouTube channel, you'll probably not know that I actually do that, because I don't really put my timestamps on YouTube, I put them on my website. Pretty much, like, I don't really, like, once it's on YouTube's weird because of the way its algorithm works. Like, if you want to rewatch a stream, like, YouTube doesn't really advertise streams very well after the stream is finished. So what I do instead is I put the stream on my website so that really, like, if you want to watch the stream, you can see the stream more clearly on the website. And I put timestamps to encourage people to watch it without having to go through all the boring shit. That's basically the gist of the timestamps, really. And that's why I use them a lot. But other than that, it's mainly, like, it's mainly because, well, I got some feedback on my video from Kerrick, who told me that would be a good idea. And it makes sense, really. Like, it does make sense to put timestamps on the streams, it does. So I decided that I'd do it on my website for the most part, mainly because, like, as I say, YouTube doesn't really encourage rewatching streams. But, like, at the same time, I don't really see that much of a point of it, because my website as a whole isn't really that big. Still, like, I do want to finish the timestamps when I get some spare time, but it's like when I get little bits of time, like, where I don't really have access to my to my entire setup, but, like, I'll have access to a laptop and I'll just do a few timestamps and stuff. That's usually the case. So that's usually how I approach it. I've gotten a lot of nectar. That'll be really handy in item creation, because, like, there's all these things here, which might be pretty handy. I think these are ciders, which I can at least get the ciders. There's also this, which is Fortitude Potion. That's nice. It increases defense, which is probably going to be really handy in the next section. But what I want to really focus on right now, as I say, is work. That's mainly what I want to focus on. So I can't really focus too much on streaming Oh, well, I can do streams still, like, on the odd occasion. Like, as I say, I'll still be doing that. But it's like, I can't really do, like, regular video content, and even writing is going to take a while as well. And when it comes to writing, like, I also have other things planned for writing as well, so it's like I do have things planned, it's just that finding the time to actually do it is a bit difficult at the moment. So really, the gist of the update is there's going to be a bit of a hiatus, pretty much. When I say a bit of a hiatus, I mean I'm going to still do the streams whenever possible. It's just that I just won't have as much time to do other things, like, only because I'm prioritizing time to other things that at the moment are more important. So really that's the gist of it. So yeah, like, other than that, really what I've mainly been doing recently, I do have spare time, aside from like timestamps and stuff, mainly been playing Mount and Blade, pretty much. That's basically what I've been doing. And also Space Engineers, like, that's another game I've been playing more of recently. And if you read the post on my website, they actually fixed the windows, which is something I've been nagging at them to do for a long time. So that's something. But yeah, I've been playing some of that, and yeah, it's mainly been that sort of thing, really. It's been a while since I've been playing, like, actual, like, console games and stuff. Like, it's been ages since I think the last time I touched my PS4 was literally when I did my last stream, and that's usually the case, actually, these days. Like, it is, like, the thing about PS4 that I use it for the most is just to stream games, because it's so easy to do. Like, even though I could do it on PC, like, I don't know, it's been a bit of a faff to do it on PC, because I don't really have it's harder to see the chat on PC. You have to, like, customize everything. It just feels awkward to play when you've got less of a screen. Let's put it that way. I just think that PS4 is a bit more simpler when it comes to streaming, so I just think, well, fuck it. I have a PS4, even though I don't really care much for this console, I might as well put it to good use and use its streaming function. It's probably the best thing about it, aside from Starship 5 and Odin Sphere. Yeah, that's another game that I really do want to get back to. When I get the chance, it should probably be about, like, after, like, I'd say about after August, I'll probably get back to doing that. But, like I say, like, they're not going to be commentary streams, because for some reason it's really difficult to commentate over them. So I've been having a tricky time doing that. But yeah, if you notice, like, I'm just killing enemies, like it's really difficult not to feel like you just feel like the combat just goes by so quickly in this game that it just feels like a compulsion at this point, where I'm just like, kill everything, why the fuck not? Let's just kill everything for the sake of it, because fuck it. Like, they're all there, combat doesn't take too long, and yeah, I do want to do a little bit of leveling, so mainly because I'm on Chaos difficulty, but mainly I want to get some SP so that I can give Anne some new roles and stuff, because there's going to be something that's really difficult coming up, and I know what's coming up, and it's not going to be fun. Well, it might be fun in a way, in some cases, but it's going to be, let's put it this way, it's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be a bit of a nightmare. So a fun challenge, well, that's up to you to decide, really. But to me, it's just, well, it's going to be a challenge, and yeah, I don't want to waste too much time reloading the game and constantly dying, which will probably happen anyways, because this is Chaos difficulty. But I do want to have a little bit of a chance, and I know exactly how I want to welcome that battle. Like, I really do. And it's not even the last of those battles either. So yeah, it's gonna get hectic. But another reason why I'm just grinding is simply because, well, I just want to, like, I like having the fast travel option in the ship, which is pretty cool, and yeah, like, I want to utilize that pretty much. Now that I've got it, I might as well put it to good use and just basically go around the fakery pretty much. But like, in case you haven't already guessed, and I don't want to bullshit people, like, this game isn't really all that focused on planetary travel like the other Star Ocean games. It's very much like one planet for the entire game, pretty much, for the most part. It's got as much planetary travel as the first Star Ocean game, pretty much. It feels very much like Star Ocean 1. Like, if you liked Star Ocean 1, I can definitely guarantee that you'll enjoy this game. Like, a lot of people will probably say, oh no, you won't enjoy it, but I would, because I do think that, like, although Star Ocean 1 has better characters in some way, like, just simply because some of the characters are pretty decent in that game, like, I don't know. Sometimes I have a hard time deciding which are better character-wise, like, the characters in Star Ocean 1 or this, but, like, ultimately, I'd say that the characters in this game are probably more, like, they're probably a lot more, like, straightforward compared to, like, well, it depends really. Like, certain characters are better than others, obviously, but, like, it's difficult to judge, really, between the two. Like, this game, let's put it this way, the characters in this game, like for example, Emerson is pretty interesting as a character. Well, and I'd say he's probably more interesting than Ronix was, personally. But I would probably say that Ilya is more interesting than Anne is, if that makes sense. So, yeah, it's a bit like, certain characters are better than others. So it's really difficult to judge, but it's the same sort of thing, really, like, as Star Ocean 1. So if you like Star Ocean 1, this is basically kind of a reboot sort of thing to Star Ocean 1, which is kind of also connecting sort of to Star Ocean 3, so it's connecting to its, like, the series' timeline or whatever. Like, that's basically the gist of it. So it's, like, it's definitely targeted towards fans of the first game, which we never got the first game until we got the PSP remake. We never got the original first game, although I played the original first game. Like, I played it on emulator, like, and I do have the Super Famicom copy as well, which I don't play on my SNES as much, just simply because, like, I can't read Japanese, but at the same time, its safe batteries run out, so I just think, screw it, I'll use the emulator. But yeah, that was the gist of it, because what I was trying to do was see if I could get through it without understanding a single word in Japanese. I mean, I did it for this game, so it was possible, but the saved battery, I was like, okay, yeah, it's got a saved battery issue, I'll just emulate it, and that way I can understand everything. It'd just be a lot easier. And yeah, that's the gist of that. I think I'm gonna have to go somewhere else, really, aren't I? I'm gonna have to go. I don't think that kind of footpath is the right place to go, though. I think what the right place to go would be probably be the. Okay, let's have a look at quests. I'm gonna actually have a look, see which. That's a bit of a nightmare to do. Find level. Trauma to go. Seasonings and soul signets. Is there anything else that we can do? Is there anything? Right, so that's Vesuvian Plains. It must be on the other side of the Vesuvian Plains then. And yeah, that's collecting stuff, I suppose, and let's see what. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's just killing birds and all. Rat potion. And this Like, I can barely read the writing. But yeah, I think I'll probably do the other one, which means going on the other side, I'm guessing, pretty much. So we're gonna go that way. And we're gonna do this quest, so that we get a quest done. And that's basically the gist. I just want to do some quests. Maybe it'll open up another quest, who knows. But just want to give it a try. Yeah, like, there's another thing, like, I think I've mentioned it before, like, I have mentioned it before, like, been ages since I played a JRPG, like, it really has been ages since I played it. This is probably, like, unless you count, like, Exist Archives, like English version, it's probably the last JRPG I played, really. It is, like, I mean, I was playing them both back to back in a way, but since, like, I played this, like, I played Exist Archive before Star Ocean 5 came out, because I got the Japanese version, which was released before Star Ocean 5's Japanese version, so technically Star Ocean 5 was the last JRPG I played, pretty much. And since then, I haven't really been playing many JRPGs at all, which is a bit odd. Like, I've been trying to play through Symphonia again, and, like, for reasons, but, like, I've been trying to play through it on Mania, and my god, like, that game is ridiculously hard on Mania, it really is. Like, it doesn't pull its punches, let's put it that way. But, yeah, I've been trying not to die in it, and it's been ridiculously hard, so, yeah, I've been having a tough time doing that. Oh, I got a new role, good. So, that's basically what I've been doing. I'm not actually sure if that was the enemy that I was meant to fight, because at the moment, like, I really can't hear any of the music. I can usually tell if I can, like, listen to music and stuff. Like, well, not, well, yeah, but, like, would be nice, like, if I could hear the music to tell that was a boss fight, but, like, or quest mission, but, yeah, I don't think I can. I think these are the ones, actually. Yeah, these are the guys. This is the quest mob I have to fight. So I have to kill these guys, and that will allow me to finish the quest. And yeah, these guys are going to get screwed over by Anne by the looks of it. Yeah, I need to get around them so I can hit them both with that, but it's not really happening, is it? Not wanting to happen. If I had Death Palm, it'd probably be a lot easier at this point, but I don't have it. So yeah, a really good opportunity to use Death Palm right there. And there's some minerals that we can get, but we've got nothing. But yeah, there's that mission done. So we now want to head back and hand it in. I mean, we did get a new role. I'm not really sure what that role was, but let's have a look what it is. Like, Gritty Warrior, that's a pretty handy role looking at it. Yeah, you got Crusader, which, that's a pretty handy role for later. Not so much right now. I love how you have Eccentric, which just screws over the AI, but at the same time it makes you stronger, which I find that amusing. Defensive one that gives a defensive bonus, that would be handy, I'd say, for what's to come, so I'm probably going to learn that, because I do want some, like, defensive bonuses. Right, so that's that, and Avenger. More encounter. Yeah, it gives you men, which it's kind of like counter attacking, which is nice and all, but ooh, this is a good one, Ace. Yeah, I can definitely get one of, like, get this one. I usually use this one for Victor because it's kind of useful to me, like, Executioner. But yeah, those are aggressive rolls. Like, I'm trying to think what... Like, that's nullifying damage. This will be handy, Vanguard. This will be really handy. I probably want to give that to Anne as well, at least for this. I don't think Gritty Warrior is going to be that useful right now, but Vanguard definitely will be useful. And I do want to level that up, because it's definitely going to be a very handy role. More my types and cardless. That's from what I can read at least. And use attack skills more often, right? Take more actions. Recover HP when break guard. And that's perform more strong attacks, feel weak attacks. Yeah, I'll keep it like that for now, but I do want to do other things with Anne later on. And yes, Anne is very important for this. She definitely is. But I do want to see if I can get a bit more out of this. But yeah, I recommend when I get my setup that you use a similar setup when you play through this, because you're going to need it. Like, the next section in the game is usually where most people quit because it gets ridiculously hard. Like, I remember when, and I'll never forget this, when I was watching Bryant's stream on, like, he's Bryant Chambers now, that's his channel, but he wasn't called that at one point, he was called Ali7. And I watched him streaming Star Ocean, and it got to the point where he was fighting one of these boss fights which is relevant to the boss that I'm going to be fighting, and he absolutely flipped out. Like, and this is a guy who never freaks out of anything. Like, he's always very calm, and like, if you get the gist, he's just a calm guy for the most part, but at the same time he is like, and this kind of got the best of him, and it really frustrated him. And to see someone who's usually so calm and like upbeat and stuff, like getting really angry at a game, like, was kind of amusing, but it really did make a point clear as to how difficult this next section is. It really is. Some would even consider it trolling, to be honest. But let's be honest, that's nothing new for the Star Ocean series, is it? Like, if you played Star Ocean until the end of time, then you'll know that the section that I'm going to be doing is nothing compared to what you have to deal with in Star Ocean until the end of time. Like, in that game, like, that game's just ridiculous in what you have to deal with. But yeah, I need to kill all of them before they steal all my cash and run. And my, whatchamacallit, has been, my reserve gauge has been decreased as well. So yeah, I mainly just want to focus on playing the game and all that. Well, that's what I want to focus on. And, oh, he's using enhance. Yeah, I was expecting him to do something else. But yeah, that's this guy, and yeah, I'm just basically grinding. That's what I'm doing. It's probably boring to watch this, really. It really probably is boring to watch me grind. But at the moment, there's not really much else that I can do because of what's coming, and I do want to level up a little bit more, particularly so I can get SP for the roles that I want to get. As, like, I really do want to change things up. But yeah, there's some really useful roles, like, there really is, and some of them that I even missed, so it's pretty cool that, like, there's all these roles that I missed out on, and I've just found them now. So yeah, I like it when you replay games, you get a new experience every time, which is pretty cool. But yeah, trying to kill these mushrooms, which should, like, be a lot easier than it already is. Like, because I'm not making progress in the story, these enemies are pretty straightforward. When you progress through the story, like the enemies get tougher as you make progress, and they have more enemies, like tougher enemies, and in the areas when you progress through the story to kind of make things a little bit more challenging. So rather than level scaling, they do it like based on story progression. So when you progress through the story, like everything gets tougher. But if you don't, everything is super easy. Which I do like how they do that. Like that's a really good idea because it keeps things more challenging, but at the same time, it doesn't like feel like leveling is pointless. Like you can still feel really strong with the leveling in this game, and that's what I like about it. Because you don't really feel like you have to be like, you don't really feel like you aren't getting stronger, because you are, if that makes sense. Like, as you can see my defense, like, I have so much defense right now that these guys can do basically nothing to me, pretty much. And I can kill them really quickly as well. So, yeah, it's one method of gaining SP. And yeah, now I'm going to go back to Rizulia once I get through the next lot of enemies, because as you all know, I have to fight every single enemy, and he completely missed me. So I'm going to go and punish him for missing. But yeah, I've kind of missed playing JRPGs recently, like, and there's really no JRPGs on the horizon that I really want to play. Like, all the games that I'm playing now, aside from maybe Tales of Symphonia, which I played to death already, right? Like, I played that game, like, this is my third playthrough of the game, if that makes sense. Or at least for as far as I can get. So, yeah, I've been going back to that, but no real new experiences in terms of JRPGs for me. Most of the games that I've been playing recently have been action games and Western RPGs, pretty much. Those are mainly the games I've been playing, and obviously Space Engineers. Like, I've been playing that as well. Oh yeah, I need to find the notice board, don't I? So, it's just a bit odd to go back to, like, JRPGs all the time, but it's a really good game to stream in a way. I find that I just like streaming this game. I just do. I don't know why. I just really like streaming Star Ocean 5. I think it's just the ability to just go back to this game, to be honest. It gives me a reason to go back and play it, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Really, this shouldn't be the game that I replay, really. I should be replaying other Star Ocean games at this point. But yeah, I'm guessing this is a private action here. So, yeah.
Hey, I used to be a kid too, you know.
You did? Really?
When I was a child, I thought I was all alone in the world. It felt like nobody
And
understood
your
anything about me.
dialogue.
After years of meeting people who spurned me, one man finally took me by the hand and told me that he was here for me.
Just like Fidel.
Yes, that's right. I couldn't have grown up and become who I am today without the support he provided.
Like, I haven't seen half of these private actions.
Does that mean I can vote too?
Of course, I'm sure you will.
But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Like, the thing about private actions in this game is, depending on what private actions you take, you unlock other private actions. And I think it's been like that for like the entire series. So every experience is different, and the private actions you get in this game, they kind of randomized in a way, so that you get a different experience each time. So it's like, some of them are fixed though. So yeah, there are fixed ones and missable ones, but most of them are just randomized, so you can just, like, they're there for, like, any moment. I really do like that. It's one of the things I really do like about this game, because you're getting a different experience every single time you play it. And by doing more private actions, you unlock more private actions, so it's pretty cool. But what I want to do now is, I want to see if there's any missions to do at the magic place, and surely there's something to do there, and if I do something there, then I might actually decide to go to the next area. But as I say, I do want to see if I can get through like some quests and get some SP, and if I can get some SP I can really buff up those rolls, because getting those rolls up is pretty critical to what's to come, like for what's to come. So yeah, it's gonna be a nightmare to do it, but hopefully I can get past it. Like, I mean, there are other games that I really should be playing right now, but like, I could be playing, but right, what's this? So, I need Demon's Tail. They're pretty easy to come by, and Silver and Ebony. Right. But yeah, I should really be playing games like Odin Sphere, Nier Automata, and Shadow Warrior. But the reason why I'm not playing those games is simply because, like, when I finish them, I want to have them in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, if I finish them now, when I don't have time to write about them, then it just won't feel right, if that makes sense. I won't be in the right mindset to do the writing for them, if that makes sense. Because I really need to take everything in, and that means consistent play. So I don't want to screw up my review of the games, you know what I mean? So what I want to do is try and, well, first I'm going to do private actions, but what I want to do is try and, like, when I get to the end of August, I'm going to try and go back to those games, because by the time that I reach, around, I don't know, by the time September comes, it should buy me enough time to finish at least one of those games, maybe, or play through at least one of those games. And then by the end of September, I should have time to actually do maybe some write-ups, hopefully. And hopefully I can articulate, like, everything properly. I've already taken some notes, so it's not like I'm completely unprepared, but I just really want to be a bit more prepared for what's to come, because it's not like there's any shortage of things to do. Believe me, there are things to do. It's just, like, as I say, this isn't the right time right now, and as such, really, I don't really see video content being a priority at this point. Aha, this is where we need to go.
Fidel, who's the most popular? You, Mr. Soldier, or Emerson?
I love this question. Like, who's the most popular? Like, Victor, Fidel, or Emerson? Like, it's like, of all the things to ask, you have to ask me this question: which one is more popular, Emerson or Victor? Like, they're two of the best characters, but I don't really want to put Fidel because he's, like, I don't know. He's okay, I suppose. He's an okay protagonist. He does his job. That's one thing I'll definitely say. Like, the point in Fidel is, well, he works well with the private action system, a bit like Roddick, because, like, he's just a normal dude, so you can kind of do whatever you want with him and make him who you want to be, rather than being a specific character, so that all of the responses you give him in private actions kind of make him in character. Whereas if you did it with someone like Edge, it kind of wouldn't be, or like Fate Lion God, it just would feel weird. But I don't know, like, I don't think Victor's pretty popular though. I would probably say Emerson is probably more popular, but I don't know. Like, he's a captain though, so that makes perfect sense. But, oh, did I actually mention that? Oh yeah, he's pretty much said that, yeah, it wasn't a spoiler, we've got to the ship, yeah, he's the captain of that ship, in case you didn't get it. And Victor, well, he's kind of just there, I suppose. But, I don't know, I'll probably have to, like, do a roulette on this one, but I don't really want to have it on me, do I? So, up, down, 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 up, down. Oh, I'm actually doing it the opposite way. So whatever this is, I'm gonna pick it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, well, me.
Oh, he picked himself.
You're number one. So
Really?
Fidel,
Really, Fidel? I can't believe I landed on that. But then again, it doesn't surprise me that I'd go for the one that I really didn't want to pick. Like, I was concerned about that, let's put it that way, but I didn't know what I could pick, so I just went with what I thought. But anyways, I'm not really sure it matters about who's the most popular, and really I think Fidel is the most popular because he's the main dude, but like, I don't know, like, what does that matter? Like, it's a very vague question. It's like, who eats hamburgers? This person, or this person? It's just like, well, we all do eat hamburgers. We all eat hamburgers except Victor because he's a vegan. So that means that it's two people who may or may not eat hamburgers, and they both do. So, like, technically that means both of them. But you can only pick one answer. Like, that's basically the gist of it. Like they're all as popular as far as I'm concerned. Pretty much.
What is it, Rulia?
Oh, I'm just watching you.
It's good to make observations. Discover anything while watching me?
You're dressed funny.
You're dressed
Can't say
funny.
that didn't hurt.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the enemies that I need to kill. I'm pretty sure that there will be some enemies down here that I need to kill, so I'm gonna kill them. It's weird because I can hear on my television, like, I can hear sound effects, but I can't hear any music or voice acting, which is weird. I can hear the birds, like, screaming, but I can't really hear anything else. Pretty much. Let's just kill them quickly. Because I want to find these demon things, that's what I want to find. I think I should have stayed at the inn, shouldn't I? Yeah, I'm going to do that, because my MP is low. So I'm just going to backtrack. Like I say, boring at the moment. I will be getting to the story soon. Well, first of all, let's see if I can learn the roles. Right, so I can't level that up anymore. But Vanguard I can, and I definitely want to level that up. Definitely want to level that up. But yeah, Vanguard and the defensive one, I want to level both of those up. I basically want to make Anne into a tank. That's what I want to make her into. Make her into a tanky character with lots and lots of defense and stuff. That's kind of what I'm going for at the moment. But there's a bit more to it as well. I might actually be going, like, if I can, extra health, and that's why Vanguard's important, because I need that extra health as well. So yeah, I'm just going to stay at the inn, and then I'm going to do the next part. Well, I'm going to do the next private action and then just finish off doing, like, killing more demon things. And I think I'll find the demon things on... Well, actually, no, I'm not going to bother with the demon thing quests. I'm just going to probably... I think we can probably carry on in the next area. I don't see why not, but I'll do this private action first. Because this is kind of getting boring to watch, I'm assuming, for people, so I'm not going to waste any more time and just basically get straight on with it, because I do think that it's important to get on with it. But I need to find where the others are first, and because there is a private action to do, I just don't know where it is. It's not Anne, so we don't have to worry about cat things, because that's mainly what her private actions are about. And Yeah, I'm gonna use the map. Oh, it's back there again, is it? Ah, I see. This is where all the private actions are, this one area back here.
What's going on?
There was a rabbit here. I saw it with my own 2 eyes.
Like, why am I getting all Rallia's private
It was a
actions?
different color from the one I saw last time. I wonder if they changed their clothes.
It must have molted its fur. Rabbits change colors depending on the season.
Very stylish, just like you, Fiore.
Really? See, I'm just gonna go straight on with the main story now. It's gonna be rough, but let's see how well we do. See if I can actually accomplish this. Because, yeah. Oops, I just need to check. Right, 9,238. It should be more, I need more really. See if I can learn stamina stockpiler, that would be nice to learn. And I'm going to set roles, go to Anne, and I'm going to basically give her all of these roles here. And this would be handy. And we also want to, yep, stamina stockpiler, and I want to go with defensive devotee. Yeah, those are the ones that I want to get up. The good thing is if you equip the skills, then you can level them up in battle, so I'm going to go to the ship and I'm going to get to the next area. But yeah, you can level them up when you're in battle, and you can get them stronger over time, which is handy. That's part of the reason why I want to equip them now and not later, so that I can actually, let's make sure I have the items that I need, because I might not have the items that I need right now, so I'm going to need to go grab some items just to make sure I have them, because this next area is going to be pretty tough. Yeah, I need some more fresh sage, definitely. And yeah, that should do. That should do the job. Hang on, I also need to also create some more potions as well. Not sure about that one, but I'm definitely going to make some more blueberry potions. That's definitely something that I need to do. Mixed syrup will be handy as well. Sup, Wind Waker. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get an update, because, like, this is the last game that's going to get updated. Like, Final Fantasy 15 got an update because it's a big budget title. That's why it's got an update. Whereas this game's not going to be updated because, well, aside from, like, the minority group who actually like this game, nobody really cares. But surprisingly, you'd be surprised, but a lot of people do like Final Fantasy 15. That's why it's getting updates and it's getting a lot of stuff on it. Whereas this game is kind of just there. People are just, well, it's like saying that Star Ocean Until the End of Time needs a remaster in the same way that Odin Sphere Lathasia got, pretty much. So, like, this, we can all have ideals with things, but it's not like they're gonna happen. It's like, that's like the Odin Sphere remaster is the same remaster Star Ocean Until the End of Time should be getting, pretty much. Like, completely change the combat system, and like maybe add the seamless elements from this game in it, so that you can actually make the actual like war that happens in that game more exciting and thrilling. That would be cool. But like, as I say, I doubt this game's gonna ever get any updates anytime soon. That's just something that I don't think is going to happen. But you can always speculate. Like, we can always add, like, have our own ideas and stuff. But I don't think, like, that's gonna be happening anytime soon. I wish it did get an update, but like, what would they update it with? Like, what could they add to this game? That's what I'd want to know. Because, like, do you mean by DLC or a patch or something? I don't know. Like, what needs patching in this game? or you saying that you just want a sequel, which I wouldn't mind a sequel to this game. And to be honest, I think that would be better to make a sequel to this game than to add any more content to it, just simply because, like, I'd like to see them go even further with it, because I do think that there's a lot of potential for growing. Well, I don't see the point in doing that, to be honest, like, mainly because, like, I just think that if we're going to just patch things, then I don't think that it's worth doing that. If you're going to do that, you might as well just make a new game. And I'd rather they just made a new game, to be honest, if that makes sense. Like, I'd rather they just started, like, something new, so that we can get a different experience. Not sure about that. It's like, well, maybe, but like at the same time, it's not really Trice's business to be adding content to their game that they don't own. Like, unless Square Enix allows them to use that content, like, that's the thing. Like, it's not really Trice's thing to dabble in. Like, they're allowed to use Star Ocean content. That's what they're allowed to use. So, if they are allowed to use, like, Final Fantasy content, then sure. But it all depends, like, what Square Enix have to say on that one. But they've never really done that before, and I think it's mainly because Trice are their own entity. Really, that's the gist of it. It's like, look at Lightning Returns, for example. That's the best example I can give you of a game that's basically Valkyrie Profile, but it's got a Final Fantasy paint job to it, pretty much. Yeah, that already happened though. That's already happened. It's called Lightning Returns. So yeah, Valkyrie Profile already had its day, like, and yeah, so, and it was pretty successful. People did like it. So yeah, but the thing about it is that, well, it's not Valkyrie Profile. That's the problem. So that's the thing. Like, after like the story of Final Fantasy 13 making no sense to me, having it set in that world was, like, it completely defeated the purpose, because the thing that I want to see in Valkyrie Profile is I want to see... Oh, hang on, this is looking pretty bad. Yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away.
Just as I expected.
Putting Lightning as a super boss, like... Well, maybe, I suppose, but... Like, Trice have never really done that before, where they actually put super bosses from games in the same series. Like, it's just not something that they really do. It's like Yoko Taro putting Cloud in Nier Automata because it's published by Square Enix, you know what I mean? It's like having, like, Sephiroth in Deus Ex Human Revolution, or like in Just Cause 3. They're published by Square Enix, but, like, doesn't mean that the development has anything to do with them, really. Well, that's because, like, Star Ocean was made by Trice, and so was Valkyrie Profile, but Final Fantasy isn't really anything to do with Trice, really. I think that's the reason why they don't do it. Like, it's like, when you have games like Just Cause, which could put Lightning in it, because with that logic they could put Lightning in Just Cause 3, and it would make sense, because, like, other games, like, if other games could do that, then that game could do it. But Just Cause it's not really connected to Final Fantasy in any way. I think that's the reason why they don't do it. Like, I'm not saying that it's completely impossible to do that. I'm just saying it's not really been done before. It'd be something that, like, it would complicate things in a way, because it would require a few licensing rights or something. Like, they need to ask for permission. And really, I think when you're looking at, like, when you're in the middle of development, the last thing to think of is asking permission from publishers to do something. That's kind of like low priority things, really. Unless the publisher wants you to put something in it. Now, if you look at what they're doing with Valkyrie Anatomia, for example, and this kind of makes sense, really, because in Valkyrie Anatomia, which obviously we didn't get, they are adding characters. Like, they added 2B to that game. And the reason why they did it is because, at least from what I can see, I don't really think Trice have really much involvement in that game, if any at all. And really it's Square Enix trying to market the game. So, in a way, that's kind of actually happening already, but it's happening on on like a mobile platform. That's basically the gist of it. Yeah, he's going to kill himself, so let's, yeah. I think there's a lot more to it than that, though, really. I mean, it's like people... A lot of the reviews have crippled this game, in a way. That's part of the reason why it's in the state that it's in, because of the reviews that it's got. Like, if it got good reviews, then people probably would have played more of it, like, but also another reason why is because we haven't seen a Star Ocean in ages, so that's another reason why we haven't really like seen anything like that. Like people don't know what Star Ocean is, some people, and some people just aren't interested. And the people that do know what Star Ocean is, they're kind of like, they got their hopes up too much, and then they didn't like the game by the end of it. And yeah, that's kind of just of it. Like, I don't understand it all, but people just decided that the game was terrible. That's just the way the mass audience works. It's because the mass audience dictated that this game sucked. So we have to accept that, regardless of what we like. That's just the way things are. That's just the way things have turned out for this game. So I think there's a lot that needs to happen in terms of the series, but in terms of the game itself, I think it's had its time, because if you think about it this way, the hype behind this game has kind of dulled out now. People aren't really interested in this game anymore. This game isn't really trending anymore like it was back in E3. The game that's trending now is kind of like, well, I'm trying to think. Like, Nier was trending. I can't keep up with what's trending these days. Well, the reason, the thing about it is that Trice had just been bought out by Nipro Japan, and because Trice were bought out by Nipro Japan, their budget has basically been cut off, pretty much, because and I believe this, it might be true, it might not be, but personally I believe that Trice were actually funding their games with their own money, like their own finances, and now that they don't have like finances of their own, they're kind of using other people's, like, they're using Nipro's money or Square Enix's money on their games, and really that means that the publishers dictate what they can spend on the game, in a way, rather than them spending like their own money. So it's like they're working for another company now, and that's kind of how it is. They're not owned by Square Enix though, and that's what kind of complicates things, because I can't really level that up, because if they were working for Square Enix, then they'd probably, things might have been a bit different. They'd probably be doing a lot of different things as well, like, yeah, leveling up healing, because that'd be good. Like, they'd probably be doing a lot of different things if they were bought out by Square Enix, but, like, they were bought out by Nipro, and Nipro make mobile games. And as such, that means we're going to probably see Trice be doing more mobile content in the future. That's probably where Trice are heading, because that's what they've been bought by a mobile company, and that seems to be where the money comes, if that makes sense. Like, what we want and what the company want are completely different. Like, what we want is a fun game to play. What they want ultimately, yes, they do want to make good games because they're passionate about the games that they make, but ultimately what it is they want is money, because they're running a business, so they need money. I'm trying to save on like items at the moment. That's why I'm trying to use item creation to create food and stuff. That's why I'm doing that, because I just want to get some. I could get the tea. I think it's down here. There's that, and yeah, herb tea. That's what I need to get. Or does that just increase mana? I've forgotten now. But yeah, I do need to eat, like, have some food. That's kind of important. That's not exactly the one that I was looking for. I'm looking for the one which heals me up a bit more. That's the one. But yeah, that's the gist of it really. That's why we haven't really been getting like anything new. Oh god, here we go. This is the one. Oh, I remember now. That's what we need to do. Yeah, get ready for a lot of game overs here. In case you're wondering, a lot of shit's gonna go down. Yeah, like, I think, like, what I said that they should have done originally after this game, I said that they should completely remaster Star Ocean Until the End of Time, and it seems like they have instead decided to go the easy route of porting the game instead of remastering it because it takes less time. But I do think that Star Ocean Until the End of Time could do with a remaster, because this game does a lot of things right, and if they can apply all the gameplay improvements that this game offered, and all of like the seamless stuff that this game added, if they could apply that to Star Ocean Until the End of Time, it would be really awesome, and it could make the game like so good. Like, it really could. And I think that's what they need to do, because people love Star Ocean Until the End of Time. That's the way it is, you see. It's the best-selling game in the series. So if they want to succeed, then that means that they're going to want to. Yeah, I'm gonna just use my rush thingy here. Yeah, I'm trying to swap targets for this guy. That went well, didn't it? And yeah, I'm going to use this. Yeah, there we go. That way I can do a lot of damage to them. Right, let's not die. Yeah, this is a rough fight, but it seems that I'm able to deal with them a lot easier now because, yeah, there's one down. We don't want Anne to die, so I'm just going to heal her. Basically what we want to do is just tank this boss here. Yeah, like, as I say, everything's possible, but it's like, what would it achieve in the long run? Oh, wait, this is bad. This is horrible. Right here. Yeah, I need to heal Anne right now with a blueberry potion. Otherwise, it's over. Yeah, there we go. Because basically they're going to all go for Anne and you have to protect Anne from getting absolutely ravaged. Yeah, like, put simply, with Till the End of Time, I kind of had a love-hate relationship with that game. Like, it wasn't all bad, in my opinion, but it did have some issues, particularly with the combat. And I think that this game improves on the combat that Star Ocean Until the End of Time had a lot. Like, it's a lot smoother than Star Ocean Until the End of Time. Yeah, this is going to be a case of just basically using Sandspike and Red Rain to deal with him from afar, and because he seems to want to like avoid, like, he seems to want to be using that attack a lot. So yeah, that's what I think they should have done, but they obviously haven't really gone that far.
Captain,
Yeah, like, Star Wars Until the End of Time's biggest issue was just the combat and the item creation. Like, those were the biggest problems with the game, and if they were replaced, it could have actually been a really fun game. Actually, it probably would have been a lot more fun than it actually was. Like, it had a lot of potential, it did. It just screwed itself because of the gameplay and some of the choices. Yeah, the backtracking was pretty bad in certain ways as well. That's an interesting point to bring up as well. Like, there is a lot of things wrong with the game. Like, in this game, for example, they make the backtracking a little bit easier. It does have backtracking in this game, but I don't really think it's as bad because of the pacing in this game. But one thing that I didn't like about the backtracking was the fact that, like, when you're going to, like, near the end of this one, you have to, like, leave this really annoying dungeon just to really get to one section of, like, just to get this item so you can make progress. That was really annoying, but it's mainly because of the dungeon. Like, Star Wars Until the End of Time has the worst dungeon in video game history, in my opinion. Like, it does, and you can probably tell which one I'm talking about. So I'll leave you to guess that, because I'm pretty sure you already know which dungeon is the worst dungeon in that game. And yes, it is near the end of this one. That dungeon is absolute shite. Like, it was just like, there was just no excuse for that one. Right, I'll give it away to you. I'm talking about Ursa Lava Caves. That dungeon was just awful. Like, everything about the Ursa Lava Caves is just terrible. All the enemies have ridiculous defense. All the enemies deal MP damage. There's lava everywhere that you have to avoid. There's a maze where you can't see what the fuck you're walking around. Like, you can barely see anything aside from enemies, which are really hard to avoid, and you have to fight them because it's nearly impossible to avoid them. And then you have to leave the dungeon to get this stupid item, and then you have to fight a boss that is insanely difficult. Like, it was just like a combination of just everything annoying that you can possibly have in a dungeon. That's what Ursa Lava Caves was. But the backtracking was one of the things that really did piss me off about that dungeon. Yeah, the lava golems weren't really the problem. The problem were the enemies with them that dealt MP damage. Because I had Cliff in the party, and MP damage can kill you. And since he doesn't have much MP, like, I wasn't prepared for that. Because, like, he had, like, basically no, like, he had basically, like that 200 MP, and the enemies were dealing ridiculous MP damage, so he died very quickly, and it just came out of nowhere. Like, why are my characters dying so quickly? Right. I kind of didn't grind in that sense, because, like, I just got a bit sick of the combat, really. Like, I just found the system to be rather clunky in a way. Like, this game makes it a lot smoother. Like, it's so much easier to, like, input commands when you're trying to do it. I don't know why, but it was so much more difficult. Like, there's more freedom in the combat as well. Like, cancelling is just so much easier to do. Like, as you can see, I just did a cancel to 200% there. That was easy to do. In Star Wars Until the End of Time, it's just so, like, it's lacking intuition. That's the problem. It's so unintuitive in its design. Like, how am I supposed to know how to, like, cancel? Like, the game never really tells you exactly how to perform a cancel properly. You just have to kind of guess. Like, it tells you that canceling, I'm sure it tells you that canceling's a thing, but it doesn't tell you or explain that you have to do it in a certain way. Like, you can only cancel certain attacks into certain attacks. Like, you can't cancel normals into, like, normals like you can in this, in a way. Well, but let's put it this way. In this game, as you can see, I can cancel into normals, I can cancel weak attacks into strong attacks. Like, it's simple. In Star Wars Until the End of Time, it kind of wasn't. That was an annoying dungeon as well. Like, that was definitely an annoying dungeon, so I'll agree with you on that one. Like, that dungeon was a nightmare. Like, there's a lot of things that Star Wars Until the End of Time really screwed up on. It's like one of those games that you can't help but like it because of, like, its soundtrack is, in my opinion, the best in the series, but at the same time, like, it has so many problems that it just stands out as being the black sheep of the series to me. Like, it didn't, unlike this game and Star Ocean 4, like, it doesn't really feel like it doesn't really feel as much of a Star Ocean game as those games did. Like, in this game, for example, you kind of have, like, the item creation from the first and second game, and from Star Ocean 4, so you get to pick and choose, which I think is pretty cool. But in Star Ocean 3, they completely changed item creation and ruined it, if you ask me. Like, Star Ocean 1 and 2, like, they had some brilliant item creation, especially for the time, like, the ability to, like, put items into a pot and get different ones, and just experiment with different, like, tools that you got for item creation. Oh, I'm dying here, I better get out of the way here. Anne's dead. Ah, finally, healing. I think so. Elizabeth, go to bed, it's late, please. If that's what you want me to say. Yeah. But basically the gist of it all, I want to see more, like, I want to see Star Wars Until the End of Time remastered. I think that's the thing that could really bring Tri-Ace back, because it's the biggest game in the series, and I think it would solve a lot of the problems. And I mean, the thing about this game is this game's had its time, and personally, the way I see it is, you either like it or you don't. If you don't like it at this point, you don't like it. That's simple. I liked it, so I'm just ready to move on. If that makes sense, I'm just ready to move on, and to just wait for something new. Like, but at the same time, I'm also aware that Tri-Ace needs something to really put them back on, like put them back in action, and the only way I can do that, well, the only way they can do that effectively, in my opinion, is to remaster Star Wars Until the End of Time. Bring back the game that brought most people to Tri-Ace, because that was the game that most people did bring to Tri-Ace. Like, I'm not happy about it being exclusive to PS4 either. I wanted it on PC. Like, I want all games to go on PC personally. Like, so yeah, if they could get a PC port, that would be cool. But that's, like, I actually bought my PS4 for this game for the most part. Pretty much. Yeah, I'm just gonna save it here. Yeah, I bought this game for I bought the PS4 for this game and the Exist Archive, and it seems also for the Odin Sphere remaster. Those are the three games that, those are the only three games worth buying a PS4 for, if you ask me personally. Like, I'm sure there's people who like other games, but, like, personally, those are the main games that I purchased a PS4 for. But it all depends on what you want, I suppose. Some people like Bloodborne, some people like the Uncharted games, which, yeah, but yeah, the Tales series is on sale at the moment. Like, it's pretty funny how the Tales series is on PC and this isn't. Like, it really should be on PC. Really, it should be on PC, because I just want to see more games on PC. I just really want all my favorite games to be on PC, because there's just so much more that you can do with them on PC. Like, I don't know, you can fix things on PC a lot easier. Like, you have modders who can fix problems and improve games if they have issues. And yeah, that's one of the things that I do want to see. I haven't bought Berseria for a lot of reasons. Like, I haven't even finished Zestiria. I couldn't bring myself to play that game. Like, I got bored of it, personally. And really with Berseria, I just think, well, like, I don't know. Maybe if it's cheaper, I might get it, but I don't know, really. I'm not really in a position to be buying any new games at this point. I want to finish the games that I'm doing at the moment. Yeah, I know that's the thing. I haven't finished Zestiria and I haven't purchased Berseria, like, pretty much. But at the moment, I just don't really have enough. Like, I've got so many games that I need to get through at the moment that Berseria really isn't on my radar at the moment. And it's just the rate that Tales games are being released as well. Like, I think that, like, by the time that I'm ready to play Tales of Berseria, there'll be a new Tales game released already, pretty much. But, like, I don't know, like, I don't really know what to expect from Berseria, and, like, since this game came out, I just really haven't been focused on the Tales series at all, really. I haven't really been focused on it at all. Aside from Tales of Symphonia, which I replayed, that's about it. Like, I just really don't, like, have any urge to play any of the Tales games recently. And I think it's mainly because this game and Exist Archive coming out kind of spoiled me, and it's just like, I want to play more of these games, but yeah, like, well, probably, but as I say, I think the thing about Tales series is they're not going away, and that's with any game, really. Like, games don't disappear, like, unless some of them get really rare, like, they're not going anywhere. So I prioritize certain games over others at certain points, and games that I'm not prioritizing I can play later if I feel like it, and I might play it later. But right now, it's just I haven't really gotten around to it, and there's a lot of reasons why. It's because, well, mainly I will admit that Zestiria has kind of yeah, Path of Radiance is expensive. Like, Zestiria is kind of like, it bored me so much that I just really lost interest in the Tales series in general. At least the modern ones. Like, I just don't feel like playing them now at this point. Like, maybe some other time I might go back to them, but right now I'm just not feeling up to playing the Tales games. Like, and yeah, I just don't really have an urge to play the Tales games right now. That's just the gist of it. It kind of burnt me out, and I think I have been burnt out of the Tales games, really, because like, back in, like, 2000 and, like, the early, like 2010 to 2015, I've been playing tons of Tales games, and it's just like, I just want to play something different, you know what I mean? Like, I want something new and different, and, like, it's like that's why I've been playing games like I've been playing less JRPGs for starters. I've been playing, like, Nier Automata isn't really a JRPG. It's, some people would argue it is, but to me it doesn't feel like it at all. It feels more like a character action game, and neither is Odin Sphere, really. That's more of a beat 'em up, really. So those are the games I've been. Well, I've already beaten Odin Sphere, but I really do want to give that game another chance, and I'm glad I did. Those are the two, like, those games and Shadow Warrior, those are the three games that I need to go back to soon, when I do get the time to do that. But I don't know what Genealogy of the Holy War is. Like, I don't know that game. But, like, Berseria, as I say, like, that game, like, if I've got nothing else to play, I might try it, but as for the Fire Emblem games, like, I played Radiant Dawn, and that's about it, and I sold it because I didn't like it. I just found it too slow paced for me. Just couldn't get into it. I didn't really care much for the fact that when you attacked, it's just like watching a scene of you stabbing somebody or hitting somebody with a weapon. Like, wasn't into that sort of thing. But like strategy RPGs in general, like I've forgotten now. I completely forgot how much I sold it for.
Nothing at the moment.
Like I really did, but I remember playing that game at one point. It's the only Fire Emblem game I played. I was like, oh yeah, I'll give Fire Emblem a go and see what it's like, and I was like, oh, it's very slow, and yeah, I'm not really a fan of those types of games personally. Like, the only strategy RPG I didn't dislike was Valkyrie Covenant of the Plume, and it's mainly because I liked the fact that they added a lot of interesting features to it, like, and they had like some action in it, in the combat. But like, generally I don't really play strategy RPGs really. They're not really my thing. But I'm more into like action games, really. Those are the type of games that I like for the most part. Like, I'm more into more action style RPGs these days. Pretty much. And that's basically what I've been playing. That's basically what I like playing the most, is action games and action RPGs. Like, I like playing turn-based games sometimes, but like, it depends. Like, it depends on how well paced they are. Like, I think a lot of turn-based games need to start looking at more like simultaneous action games and seeing what they do, because I find that a lot of turn-based games just feel very sluggish at some points. I mean, some people like them, I get that, because it's more strategic, and that's one thing that they definitely offer. But after playing games like Mount and Blade, yeah, I played Disgaea 3, like, I wasn't a fan of that, personally. But that was actually the first game that I got on my PS3, and wasn't really a fan. I couldn't get into that at all. Like, that game and I just didn't agree. Let's put it that way. It's one of those games where it, like, the starters, I just didn't really like one thing that did stick out to me was the interface. It was just all like just this bland brown colour. It didn't really have like, it just felt like it was like they weren't really trying to make it like stand out or anything, and I wasn't too fond of the humour, really. Not my type of humour. My humour is more like, I'm more into like witty humour personally and stuff like that, whereas that was kind of like more like, it's what I like to call similar humour to like Borderlands and that lot, where it's just like silly, like, and trying to like break the fourth wall and stuff. Like, not my thing personally, and the gameplay wasn't really my thing either. Like, I'm all for games that are silly, but I like games to be somewhat believable. Yeah, I have played Grandia 3. I actually reviewed that game as well recently. It's actually my most recent review, was my Grandia 3 review. That was my recent review, and as it's on my website at the moment, so if you want to check that review out, it is on my website. I can link it right here, and it basically says what I think of the game in a nutshell. But as I say, you don't have to read it, but it's what I recently did. Well, actually, it kind of was released in PAL when they released it on PS3, because when they released it on PS3, it basically meant that I could finally play the game. That's why I played it. I played it on the PS3 emulation thing, PS2 emulation on PS3. I basically made an American account and just bought it off the PlayStation Store in America, and then I basically played it, and yeah, the review basically says what I thought of it. in a nutshell, it was like it's more grandier in a way, and I really like the battle system. I did. Like, people make out that it's a terrible game, and I wouldn't really say it's a terrible game. I just say that it's not as good as Grandia 2 was at all. Like, it's not even close. It was basically like, it's a game that you play mainly for the combat in a way, and that was enough to satisfy me. Like, but yeah, I can see why people really hated that game. It did a lot of stupid things in it, but at the same time, like, you can't really knock it personally, because the last boss, like the last boss made me think of like a Pokemon or something. Either that or some, like, it kind of made me think of something out of a Kirby game. Like, that's what it felt like. Like, you're fighting like Dark Matter in Kirby, but he's now grown wings. That's basically what the last boss reminded me of. Yeah, it was okay. Like, it wasn't anything special. I think people did overreact about Grandia 3 because they expected like an amazing experience like they got in the other Grandia games, and they didn't get it. Like, they tried to do the opposite of Grandia 2, which kind of makes sense, because like, doing the same thing all over again wouldn't be a good idea. Like, you don't want to do the same things over and over and over again in every single game, unless the game keeps is like a series of story, like Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky or something. Then yeah, you probably want to keep it consistent, but you want to try new things if it's different every time, you know what I mean? Yeah, pretty much. Like, the second half was like recurring plot device in a nutshell. Like, what it was all about the recurring plot devices, and like, it wasn't really anything special. Was the second half? The first half was, at least it tried to be funny. You know what I mean? At least it tried to be funny and had some humor in it. Yeah, pretty much. Well, I think it was more than just Rush. I think it was just like, they really, like, I think some of the characters are just poorly written in general. But I can actually see what you mean as well. Like, it's like there was a character in the game, like, who had like this significant scene where all these things were happening in the game, and like you got this cutscene, and like it was kind of like one of those meanwhile somewhere else, like you see this cutscene, you see these two guys talking about things, like, and the more I saw those two guys talking about things, I thought, this is actually starting to get interesting now. Like basically the guy who wears that kind of like beret in the game, like that guy who looks like the most generic evil villain of all time, like, he was like, he was kind of interesting. Like, I was kind of interested to see where they were going with that, but they really didn't go anywhere with it. It's just like, when it was like, yes, like, they were like watching everything that was going on and like saying like, oh yeah, like, this has happened now, so now we can formulate our plans and all that lot. But they never went anywhere with it. Like, it would have been so interesting, it would have made for a really interesting plot twist had like La Lim and that other guy, who they never gave a name, actually did something, actually changed the plot, but they didn't. Yeah, that guy, like, what was up with that guy? Like, and that La Lim guy, like, who reminds me of Gul'dan from Warcraft a bit, but yeah, like, I actually, like, it's funny because Emilius reminds me of Ganondorf. Like, I looked at Emilius and it's just like, this guy looks just like Ganondorf. Like, I don't know about you, but he does to me. It's just like, but I would actually say the characters that had the most potential in that game were probably Miranda, Alonso, like, that La Lim guy, Raven, who should have been a playable character. Why he wasn't playable, I have no idea. And like also the other guy that was with Lylin, like those were the characters that had the most potential. The rest of them were just kind of there the whole time. They never really did anything with them anyways, and just there, but like yeah, and Emilius was okay, I suppose. Like he had an agenda in a way, but so you can't really knock him. He was decent. He was no Melfist, but he was decent, I suppose. And at least he had a pretty cool laugh when you lost to him. That was pretty funny. Like, but yeah, like the best thing I can take from Grandia 3, though, the thing that I take from it the most, and I actually made an interesting comparison once, and if you read my review, you'd see exactly what I mean when I did the comparison. Oh, sorry about that. But basically, what I was saying is, like, I did a comparison with Grandia 3 and Grandia 2, and I saw something. Something actually started to add up, because then I played Devil May Cry 4, and the story of Devil May Cry 4 is basically a combination of both Grandia 2 and Grandia 3's story. If you look at both games' storylines, they're basically they basically add up to be
Good work,
they basically add up to be Devil May Cry 4, which is kind of amusing because like Devil May Cry series it's always been that series that's never really focused on the story. It's always been focused on the action and like kicking ass and stuff.
Let's head to Fake
and like with the Grandia games, they're all focused on the story, but the story of Devil May Cry 4, like that's the game that kind of changed like what Devil May Cry was all about. Like Devil May Cry was all about like being in this kind of like dark gothic like surroundings, kind of a bit more weirder than dark gothic, I'd say. It's kind of got its own look to it, its own appearance. A lot of people would say it's got that Castlevania like look to it, but like as I say, it's got that sort of style to it. When am I going to LP White Knight Chronicles? I'm not sure. Maybe when I have nothing to do and I think, well, let's play something shitty and might play through it. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. It's not really. I haven't really thought it over, to be honest. Like, once was enough for that game. But a second time running for that game, like, I could see how long I'd last, but I'm not sure. Like, I'm honestly not sure about that game. I mean, like as I say, it would be fun in a way, but no, I haven't played the sequel, but I've seen how it ends, and I find it funny how it ends. But the best part about White Knight Chronicles is that at least the first game is the villain is so bad that it's good, if that makes sense. But that's the best part of that game. Like, the fact that the villain is an absolute joke. Then again, to be honest, the game does take itself too seriously. Like, it really does. It's not like Chaos Legion where the game takes itself so seriously that it's funny. Whereas this game, it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of a bit awkward. But, yeah, I'm not really sure about that game at all. Like, the sequel, to me, when I looked at the sequel, it was like, the sequel looked like an expansion to the game. It didn't even look like a proper sequel to the game. It's just like they didn't really change enough of it. Like, it's like they patched and added an expansion to the original game. Like, the visuals weren't really improved or anything like that. It just looked the same, and it's just like, I don't really feel a reason to play the sequel at all. Pretty much, yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked like the same, but an expansion. That's what it looked like to me. Unfortunately, I get to play as Victor again. But yeah, like, I will, since you got me on the topic of the whole, like, Devil May Cry 4 thing, well, you didn't get me on the topic of the Devil May Cry 4, you got me on the topic of Grandia 3, but I do want to talk more about how Devil May Cry 4 and Grandia are so similar in the story, and how I find it amusing. And it's like, I don't know if you played Devil May Cry 4, and if you could agree with me on that one, because to me that's what it seemed to be like. Because when I played Grandia 3, it started making a lot of I started making a lot of comparisons to Devil May Cry 4, and eventually I also looked at comparisons between it and Grandia 2, and really, like, I see, you haven't played Devil May Cry 4. Well, like, it's not a bad game. It's like, the special edition's definitely worth a try. In a way, it's like, Devil May Cry 3 is better, but Devil May Cry 4 is pretty fun. But the story of Devil May Cry 4, like, if you, like, pay attention to the story of Devil May Cry 4, it's basically Grandia 2 and Grandia 3 combined. Like, the game starts off where Nero's trying to get to, like, the church thing where there's, like, a songstress singing at this, like, chapel thing. Like, that's basically the same way that Grandia 2 starts, pretty much. In a way, but that's just the first comparison. Like, later on, like, there's a certain area that actually reminds me of, like, when you enter Arcrith, like, that long bridge to Arcrith, there's an area like that in Devil May Cry 4 that kind of reminds me of that place. And it's like, the best part about it is that Yuki has the same voice actor as Nero, Johnny Yong Bosch, which kind of makes it even funnier how they're so alike. And they're both basically the same character, but at the same time, like, Yuki's, like, not the only character that Nero's kind of like, because Ryudo's a bit like Nero as well, but Ryudo's also a bit like Dante, because, like, in a way, like, the whole Dante and Virgil dynamic kind of reminded me of Ryudo and Melphis from Grandia 2, so, yeah, like, it's like, it seems to me that the developers of Devil May Cry 4 played the Grandia games, and they took the ideas set by the Grandia games and put them in the Devil May Cry series. That's what it seems to be to me. It's just a little speculation, observation that I made, pretty much. It's basically the gist of it. Like, whether they did or they didn't, I don't know, but I do recommend playing Devil May Cry 4, or just at least watching the story segments, and then watching the story segments of both Grandia 2 and Grandia 3 back to back, and you might see what I mean by it. Like, the whole, like, the final boss of Devil May Cry 4 is basically the final boss of Grandia 2. Like, it is the same final boss. There's literally, the only difference is the final boss isn't a butterfly. That's the only difference. But aside from that, like, it's the same final boss. Yeah, that's another point. Like, Devil May Cry 4 was also rushed, like Grandia 3. That's another point. Because, like, with Devil May Cry 4, like, there was so much content that we didn't get to see. Which is, that's a game that needs an update. That's definitely a game that needs an update. More content in Devil May Cry 4. I'd buy it. I mean, I bought the special edition, so, yeah, I'd buy more content in that game. Because that game was fun. But, I mean, I do like Devil May Cry 3 more, though, I will admit that. Devil May Cry 3 that game was the bomb. That game was pure kick-ass. Like, I really did like the style of that game more, like, because I'm more into, like, the darker setting in that sense, whereas Devil May Cry 4 kind of tried to be, like, a, like, fantasy game, rather than a, like, dark gothic game in a way, which was kind of funny. Yeah, that's the problem. Like, as I say, I bought the special edition, but they didn't add more story sections. Like, that would be like, it'd start being like the Street Fighter games if they updated it again, like. But then again, that's nothing new for Capcom, is it? Like, Capcom, well, I should really be speaking to Victor, he's my man, like, he's my dude, he's the guy that I play as all the time, and now that I finally have him in the party again, I'm gonna use him again. Like, I love his primary attack because it's so fast. Yeah, it sounds to me that you really don't like backtracking at all. Pretty much. Which I can kind of understand. This game has a bit of backtracking in it as well if you want to do the side content. But, like, personally, I'm not too bothered about backtracking as much. It's like, as long as there's, like, as long as I get rewarded for it, I'm not really that bothered. Like, but, yeah, you don't seem to like backtracking at all. Like, I really do like understand why people didn't like the backtracking for at all. I actually think I'm going to use some blueberries on Fiore because she's going to... Oh, that was too late. I was way too late on that one. Yeah, like, there are other games where backtracking is a pain in the neck in certain ways, but I can't really think of them now. I can think of them, like, like, I don't know, like, I didn't like the backtracking that you had to do in Tales of Symphonia, where you had to, like, you had to go into the temples. I'm actually wondering, does she have a resurrection spell? I'm not actually sure. No, she doesn't. That's bad. I really need that resurrection spell. I can find the fresh seed so I can bring it back to life. Go to Bravely Default. I haven't actually finished Bravely Default at all. Like I got... Oh god, the Dell's dead now. Like, the enemies have all gotten stronger now, so I have to use a flying guillotine to knock some sense back into them. Yeah, really handy. Like, Victor's really handy for these guys. But I'm gonna need to use some items here because the characters are getting totally ravaged. They really are. But yeah, Bravely Default is, like, I don't seem to be getting into it at all, mainly because it's just so freaking... I played it on hard difficulty, so I suppose it's bad, but I'm trying to beat it on hard difficulty without using the microtransactions. My god, it's so hard to do. Like, the game is obviously designed with microtransactions in mind, at least on hard difficulty. Like, I really don't like how they added that stupid microtransactions. I only got to the part where you have to get the thief class thing, where you have to fight that thief guy and that mage guy, like, and they don't take damage from physical attacks, which is stupid. Like, it makes no sense. Like, why don't they take damage from physical attacks? Like, are they made out of metal or something? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But that's just the way it is, like, so basically have to deal with that shit, and I just got sick of it, so I just stopped playing. Yeah, like, I mean, I don't mind difficulty as long as there's no microtransactions, because I really don't like microtransactions at all when you're trying to make difficult experience, because it just exploits the gamer. Like, difficulty is one thing, but when you have microtransactions, like, microtransactions are always bad, but I just can't be asked to play a tough game when it's obviously, like, microtransactions are obviously influencing it, and I'm just like, well, what's the point? Like, I suppose I really should play on normal, but it's just, like, I don't even know, like, I just run out of freaking MP every single time when I'm using a spell. Really? Yeah, Bravely Default seems like a gimped version of Final Fantasy V to me. It's like, Why play Bravely Default when Final Fantasy V exists? It doesn't solve a problem. All it does is create problems. Like, that Bravely Default's a good example of why problem solving is an important thing when you're designing a game, because like it doesn't solve any problems. It just brings like back the problems of old games. That's all it does. And to me, that's not a good thing. Like especially when you have games like Final Fantasy V, which is just so much better. Like, and they nailed that job system. Like, and then you see Bravely Default, you're just like, this is a joke, right? Like, we had all this done like properly in Final Fantasy V, and now you're just basically saying we need to like stop, like we need to turn it fully turn-based, we need to gimp everything to make it ridiculously hard for no reason. It's just like, Final Fantasy V was tough in certain ways, but it was fair. Like, but oh yeah, right, there's a spell like that, is there? I didn't know that. Like, I don't think it would have changed anything though if I did know that, because, well, like, I probably don't know. Like, I try not to use cheap spells sometimes, but I suppose I'd need to use that. Like, when Final Fantasy V exists, you shouldn't be going for a better Final Fantasy III. That's not what you should be going for. You should be going for a better Final Fantasy V. That's what you need to be going for. It's just like, it's one thing wanting to go back and like go back to the good old days, but if you go back too far, then, and that's what Bravely Default did. Like, if you go back too far, then you're not really solving issues. You're actually creating problems by just going back too far. When games have already improved themselves like so long. I love using this attack. Like, it clears them all out. And yeah, that's a nice attack as well. Like, the main villain of what game? Like, are you talking about 3? I never actually finished 3 either, like, to be honest, I never did. That's another game I never finished. I just got fed up of it. Speaking of which, I need to give him some roles. That's one of the things that I need to do. Because he's got no roles, has he? Did you give him Ace? Did you give him Attacker? Ah, Bravely, yeah. The main villain could be pretty much anybody in that game, as far as I'm concerned. Sharpshooter, that's not his, but I'll just start with those. Substrider, how's it going? We're talking about Bravely Default and Final Fantasy V, and how Bravely Default is nowhere near as good as Final Fantasy V. Pretty much. But we're talking about other things. Like, we're talking about how Grandia 3 inspired Devil May Cry 4, possibly. And we're also talking about how, like, Star Ocean needs to change, and like how we need to see more like we need to see a remaster of Star Ocean Till the End of Time. We need to maybe see more content in Star Ocean 5, and we need to see more, like, I don't know, like, we need to see like more JRPGs that kind of entice me to want to play them. Well, you're not missing much. Bravely Default is, like, it's not brilliant. It's one of those games that fails the first step of game design, if you ask me, in the sense that it doesn't solve a problem. It's like, let's go back to the old days. That's not really solving a problem, that's causing more problems, because back in the day, games were not as advanced as they are now. Like, games were good back in the day, but not because of their archaic design choices. They were good because, like, they had good stories, they had memorable characters, they had good settings, they had good worlds, they had good music. and the gameplay for their time was good, but not anymore, if that makes sense. Yeah, don't bother playing that game. It's a waste of your money. Like, if you want to play anything... God, I'm getting my ass handed to me here. If you want to play a decent, like, JRPG, then that's not the one you want to be looking at. Like, at the moment, I haven't been playing many JRPGs at all, really. Aside from this, obviously, and Tales of Symphonia, but that's it. I've been playing Tales of Symphonia. Like, all I've been doing is replaying JRPGs. I've had no real new JRPGs, if that makes sense, recently. So, yeah, it's difficult for me to talk about the good JRPGs that are out now. I'm sure there are, like, but it's just that I haven't really been playing them because they're not on my radar. Fairies is the main villain. Like, do you mean like the main villain of Grandia 2? That was a fairy. It might as well have been. It looked like a fairy. Tales of Symphonia does start off very slow. It definitely does. Like, it's one of those games that you really need to be patient with that game, because it's like, it depends on what you're not getting into the most. Like, there are issues with Tales of Symphonia that I do mention, because I am writing my review of that game. There are issues in that game that are pretty freaking annoying. Like, the dungeons in that game, like, the dungeons in Tales of Symphonia, like, I don't know why, but the year 2003, at least in Japan, from Japan releases, was terrible when it comes to dungeon designs. Well, at least with, like, both Daros Until the End of Time and Tales of Symphonia have some of the worst dungeons in video game history, to me. Like, but Daros Until the End of Time is worse in my opinion. Still, the puzzles in Tales of Symphonia are a nightmare. Yeah, Bravely Defaulty. Bravely Default. Yeah, I don't know about the fairy in that game. I honestly don't. Like, I haven't got that far yet. Yeah, it's one of those games, like, you really need to get to the second section of the game for it to start getting decent. Oh, God, I wasted that item. Like, the start of the game is basically Final Fantasy X Grandia 2 sort of thing at the start. But it does get a little bit better by later on. It's just getting to that part. Like, the thing about replaying that game, and I'm trying to replay it again, like, recently, and it's just a nightmare to the freaking start section. Like, it really is. Like, the best part about Symphonia, if you ask me, like, for its time it had a great combat system as well, but I think that the story isn't bad by the end of it. Like, it's not really focused mostly on the characters, it's focused mainly on the themes. And, like, I liked a lot how it took a lot of the systems from the Star Ocean series. Like, well, I like how it took the systems, like the private action system from the Star Ocean series. Well, it kind of stole it, but, like great artists steal after all, so... Yeah, that's the thing. It's one of those games that just take, like, a while to really get into, and it's predictable and probably by now. You can probably tell what's going to happen. Like, what's going to happen in the next section. Like, in the later sections. Well, all I can definitely say to you is that, like, how far have you got in Tales of Symphonia? How far have you got into the game? That'd tell me exactly a lot of things about it. I'm getting absolutely ravaged here. Yeah, that's not good, is that? These triangulars seem to knock them back, and then this guy comes right next to me. The ice dungeon. That's quite further into the game, isn't it? Yeah, I suppose it's not for everyone, but it does kind of change a little bit. I can see why you'd probably be pissed off about that section of the game, because you've basically lost Kratos at that point, pretty much. So you're probably not you're probably a bit brassed up about that. Pretty much. My advice is, like, if you like Kratos, then you really want to make sure that you do a lot of the, like, events properly. Like, I suppose you'll need a guide, really, because the game has a private action system, and it's very important if you like Kratos, because I'm not going to say anything because spoilers, but it's very important, let's put it that way. But at least if you're playing the GameCube version, then you don't really have to worry about that. But if you're playing any of the new versions, then... Well, I'm not really going to say anything on it, but you really do want to get his... You really want to get his affection up, because if you don't get his affection up, then, well, let's put it this way, it's not going to be good. But, Tales of Symphonia is one of those games where you need to have a guide when you're playing it. You need to, God, I should really be watching out for those attacks. I'm not. I need to pay more attention to what's going on here. Yeah, Tales of Symphonia is not the best game ever made, but I'd probably go so far to say it is my favourite Tales game, personally. But it does have issues, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, its main issues are the dungeons, in my opinion. But I do like how it has some really good systems. I like the affection system it has. But honestly, you really need to play it with a guide, like you really do. And you need to heal up, because I'm getting absolutely ravaged by the enemies here. So yeah, if you haven't got a guide yet, you really should start using a guide, because you really need to find out what your actions do affect. Never have I played the remake ones as well, which is ironic because I really like the GameCube, and it's a game I never really picked up, which is a shame because now it's super expensive on the GameCube. But I don't mind, the newer versions are improved in some way. Yeah, wait till you get to the... there is a temple in the game where having a guide would be very handy. Or, well, there are certain areas in the game where having a guide will be really handy and will save you a lot of time. Because, let's put it this way, some of the dungeons in the game, are an absolute nightmare. I've forgotten when the Tales of... I've forgotten when the Temple of Ice is, there's kind of no real order in which you take on the temple, but one of the temples, don't know if you've got to it yet, but the Temple of Shadow is an absolute nightmare. That place is literally hell. It probably, aside from the Ursa Lava Caves, it is the second worst dungeon I've ever experienced in a video game. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. You can't really go wrong with Cam Clark at all. He's pretty much in most of the best games, pretty much. A lot of my favourite games have him in it, and for good reason. Oh crap. Yeah, I can't get to these things because, are you already performing that? You better be healing, yes, you're healing good. Yeah, I don't really have any rolls equipped, that's the problem. I should really equip some rolls onto Miki, that's why I'm getting absolutely ravaged. Yep. Start never striking so I can knock them all down. Yeah, Crispin Freeman, it's kind of funny because, well, Victor's voiced by Crispin Freeman. They've both got the same sort of style of voice acting. They both play these characters, for example Cam Clark's he plays He-Man, so they play these knightly kind of dutiful warriors type characters, if that makes sense. They play a lot of those in a way. Yeah, I mean they've got that same thing to them in the sense that they're both dignified fighters sort of thing. That's usually the role that they play, dignified heroic fighters. That's usually what they do. like both of them. It's like that's exactly what Victor is, so it makes sense. But Crispin Freeman's actually Regal, so yeah, it's kind of interesting how they're both in the same game. Yeah, pretty much he's Regal. I actually like Crispin Freeman's job as Victor in this game. I think he does a really good job when he plays Victor in this game. Like, I think he nails a lot of the lines really well, and he really gets his character nailed in this game. Yeah, Crispin Freeman's normal voice. Crispin Freeman's like, he's either gonna play like these like really fucked up characters, or like these overly heroic characters, whereas Cam Clark is kind of like he plays a lot of characters that are really like dignified heroes, but he also plays a lot of characters who are like more wily characters. I don't know, like they basically have similar styles. Let's put it that way. It's like Troy Baker and Nolan North are very simple. I mean, not simple, like very similar in that sense. They're both very similar style of voices, and you've got. I keep getting hit by that. I really shouldn't be getting hit by that at all. I'm stupid for getting hit by that thing. So, like for example, you have a lot of like voice actors that are designed for like villains and stuff. It's like you have. Trying to think of a good, like, a really good, like, example of this. Like, there's so many great people who voice villains. Like, John Saigan and Cam Clark are always voicing, like, characters in similar series. Like, those guys are always together. Like John Saigan's, like, the one guy who, he's, like, one of the best evil voices in gaming. Like, because he just completely nails it. And then you've got Cam Clark, who's like the hero, like, sort of thing. Except in MGS, where he was, well, yeah, Liquid, so he wasn't exactly, he was more of a devious character in that one. It's interesting how they used both of them in that game. Probably why those are probably their most standout roles, because they both played villains. As for Crispin Freeman, well, like, I don't know, like, he sounds like I don't know if he did the main character from Gothic, because the main character from Gothic 4 reminds me of Crispin Freeman. I don't know why. I don't know if it is, but if it is, then that's pretty interesting if they actually use him as the voice for the main dude of. Actually, do I have Antidote? I don't think I do. If so, that's kind of annoying. Yeah, he did pass away, which pisses me off because, like, if I made a game and I was to make a villain in a game and I was to hire anybody to do the job, I'd bring him along to do that. Like, he's like the best person. Well, it depends on the villain, I suppose, but when it comes to like a specific, like when it comes to most villains, he's probably the best person for the job because he can nail any role effectively. Oh crap, I need to now use a basil because these mushrooms are proving to be a serious pain in the ass. Right, I'm going to just see if I can. Oh, she's being stunned again? Really? Oh, she was still stunned. Right, so I need to basically move out of the way and. Yeah, she's dead. I knew that was going to happen. That's why I didn't do anything like immediately, because I knew that she'd die. But yeah, like John Saigan is pretty cool. I don't know if that's how you pronounce his name. Like voice actors have ridiculously weird pronunciations. I'm gonna die, aren't I? Yeah, I'm gonna be fucked. So I need to really. That was a great time to come back. Like the moment that I'm in this AOE, I end up coming back to life. Yeah, let's use a Basil on Fidel because he has tons of health, and I need to seriously use Flying Guillotine on these guys. But I keep missing them. And Miki's dead, that's great. This is what Chaos Difficulty is all about. Yeah, like, these guys may be tiny, but they pose a huge threat. Like, they really do. I'm gonna go for the big guys because I know that they're gonna be, like, a pain in the neck. Oh, crap. But this is like a boss fight right here against mushrooms. But yeah, I need to use Flying Guillotine against these guys because I need to group them all up from afar without getting too close to them. But if I can just get to the guy and stagger him enough so that I can't interrupt that attack there yet because I need to do it from afar. It's safer that way. Right. Get to him, and yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Get him with his pants down, or get him when he's upside down. Not really. I haven't played any of the mobile stone motion games, unless you count Blue Sphere, which I didn't play on mobile. I played that on Game Boy. I haven't even finished it because it's in Japanese, pretty much. But I haven't played Animesis either. I haven't played that. Really. Those are... So really the only game that I played that was released on phone was Blue Sphere, and I played that on Game Boy Color. I haven't finished it, I only got so far into it because I didn't understand Japanese, and there really hasn't been a good translation for that game, which is a shame. I haven't found a translation for it. Maybe if there is a translation out there, I might actually be able to try that, but I haven't found any translations for it, which is a shame because it'd be cool to play like Blue Sphere fully translated. That's a game that they could bring back, but it's like everything now. Like, it's like I want a Valkyrie Profile 3. Am I gonna get it? Nope, because Trice aren't financially capable of doing that. So that's just the reality of everything these days. It's like either mobile or nothing now. That's how it's gonna be. And if that's how it's gonna be, then oh well. I really should have just gone in with a double slash there. That would have probably made more sense. Yeah. But yes, like, there's so many voice actors and they all have different roles, they all have different jobs. And it's like, but there's certain people who... Yeah, pretty much. If you count that as Valkyrie 3, I suppose. Like, just having one character, like the whole game, which defeats the whole purpose. Valkyrie has always been about managing multiple characters at once and doing it in a way that actually isn't bad, if that makes sense. I love how I'm just fighting all these guys, but I kind of need to. I need to use a mixed syrup on Victor because he's out of MP. And now I'm paralyzed again, so I need to use an item, and yeah, I need to give her a roll, don't I? That's what I need to do. But that's just the fate of it now, like, pretty much that's the fate of the series. Like, Square Enix will just basically use, like, the best IP like they can, the best brand name that they can because it sells. But really, you've got to blame... We can only blame ourselves at the end of the day because we buy this stuff. Well, maybe not ourselves, but blame the consumer. Like, because the consumer are responsible ultimately for buying this stuff. If people didn't buy this stuff, we wouldn't be having all this problem. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why we get this stuff. Like, if you don't buy games, then if people stop buying Final Fantasy, like, over a long period of time, people, like, the Final Fantasy series would just stop happening, but people still buy them. That's why it's still being made. You know what I mean? It's like people still buy COD and Battlefield. That's why they're still there, even though people complain about them. If you still buy them, God, I'm getting absolutely ravaged. If I can dodge the right way and get away from all this, then I can actually... Yeah, pretty much. Which, that's part of the reason why I've always said that I do believe they've used their own money when making their games because of their high budget, in a way, like, well, high production, because, like, God, these enemies, my God, these enemies are a nightmare to deal with. Just mushrooms. Mushrooms are, like, the ultimate evil in this game. Pretty much. Yep, pretty much. Valve Profile 2 definitely did that. That's Valve Profile 2 in a nutshell. Like, they spent so much money on that game, you could tell that they did. Like, in terms of either, like, the investment of time in doing, like, the visuals, and, like, doing all of the features in the battle, like, it's ridiculous. Like, how much. Like, that's the game that killed Tri-Ace, because when that game was released, like, when that game was being made, it just got put so much money in it that Tri-Ace had no money left, and they didn't get enough. Yeah, Mario... Like, I've always said this. I've always preferred the Kirby games to the Mario games, personally. Like, I always have. Like, Mario games, they're more, like, I don't know, like, I like having all the powers and stuff from Kirby, whereas in Mario it's kind of like you just jump and stand on people. Yes, you have, like, power-ups that you can grab, but I just love the copy abilities of the Kirby series, personally. And I just think that the Kirby series doesn't really get as much attention as Mario, which is a shame, because, like, all the spin-offs Mario's made, Kirby's always made a better, more interesting spin-off equivalent, whereas Mario's always made a conventional type of game. Like, pretty much every single spin-off Kirby's made has been, like, unconventional, and that's why I kind of liked Kirby series in general. But also their games are a lot more different to other platformers. They kind of feel more actiony as well, and I like that sort of thing. The thing about platformers for me is, if you're gonna make a platformer, at least give us some action in it, if you know what I mean. Like, if you give us some action, then, like, or some, like, combat mechanics, then it might be more interesting. It's like, for example, speaking of your name Strider, like, I played the Strider remake, and because it added some cool combat, I actually didn't mind it. Well, for the first part, like, it started off pretty cool, but then eventually like, the platforming section just got a bit of a nightmare when you started playing that game, and I just couldn't finish it because of that. But I did like how it started, like how you just got straight into the action. I'm just not really a fan of platformers as a whole, but I do like playing platformers when there's plenty of action. I need to really give her some healing rolls. And yeah. Oh no, not Princess, don't want to give her that roll. That's not a good one to give her. Savior, and probably just... oh yes, healer roll. Just give her those for now. And Dauntlets, that's handy, and maybe Pretty Warrior for now. But yeah, that's my thought on that. I mean, the Mario games that I've liked the most, I like Mario Galaxy. I finished that game, and I nearly finished Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door, but then I lost the game because, well, I couldn't find it. I don't know, like, that game disappeared off the face of the earth. Maybe I sold it, I don't know, maybe because I lost my data, but I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know, I got to the dragon boss, which I got stuck on that boss. I think that's how far I got in the game, and because I got stuck on the boss, it was just... like, I ain't got further in it. But that's basically as far as I got, pretty much. But, like, I might play it again at some point, but I don't know, right now, like, right now it's just, like, Star Ocean 5 for streams, and then for everything else it's Mount and Blade, and, like, Space Engineers, maybe, I don't know, if that's a thing that I might do. Or, like, maybe, like, I don't know, like, I'm in a Mount and Blade mood at the moment. Sup, Battle Phoenix? Yeah, I'm in a Mount and Blade mood at the moment, like, it's one of those games that when you play Mount and Blade, you just really just want to play more. It's just like, I have to be there to see, like, to protect my kingdom and shit, like, it's because I'm immersed into the game for once, which I don't normally get, but in Mount and Blade I definitely do get immersed into that game. So that's what I've been playing most of the time. But I'm taking a break from it, really. Like, if I was to recommend a Mount and Blade mod to you guys, though, I'd probably recommend Gecko Kujo to you guys, because I think you probably like that game, as it's kind of like, it's a bit like, imagine Dynasty Warriors if it was real, like realistic Dynasty Warriors. Imagine that. That's what Gecko Kujo is. It's brilliant mod. I've been playing that as well, but I've mainly been playing Viking Conquest. That's mainly been what I've been playing, but Gecko Kujo is another one I've been playing. It's really fun. Like it's set in, like, I'm not sure what period of Japan it's set in. Probably like the same period as the Dynasty Warriors series or something. I'm not too knowledgeable on Japanese history, but it's set in that period, and it's really cool because like it has a lot of cool features in it. But yeah, it's definitely one of the better mods in Mount and Blade. And as a mod, it's free, so it's pretty cool. Randomize stream. Yeah, I'd be down for that. I'd be down for a randomize stream. Like, I don't know what you'd be putting on it though. Like you play so many randomized games now that I don't know. Are you not randomized out yet? And there's still more randomized games out there that are still super random. Because I wouldn't know. Like, unless you plan on playing Hong Kong 97 again. No, that's a randomized game. But yeah, like, there's just so many games out nowadays. It's just, you can't keep up now. Like, everything moves like super quick, and it's just like, I'm just trying to finish this game series and trying to get this game series done, and don't know what's going on at the moment. Yeah, Yakuza 0, everybody's making a fuss out of that game. Everybody's making a big fuss about that game. Had another random ass. Yeah, there's plenty of stuff around there. Just play any of Yoko Taro games. Those'll do the job. Oops, I kinda got hit by him there. Then again, like, it's like everybody knows about those games. Like, it's funny because Yoko Taro used to be like this cult guy that, like, very few people really knew about. Now everybody knows about him. He's just like, oh yeah, he's just Yoko Taro. Like, he's like a mainstream dude now. He's like everybody knows him. Every CDI game, yeah, every Sega, like, Sega CD game. That's another one. Like that basketball game where you, like, which is kind of at the same time a, I forgot what they called it now, but it was kind of like this, like FMV, like, basketball game. I forgot what they called that. That would be interesting to see. I'd like to see that on the stream. But I've forgotten what they called it, like. Yeah. Like, Sega CD's got some really weird games. Like, Sega in general has some really weird games. Pretty much. It's like, I suppose, as someone who's mainly stuck with Nintendo for so long, like, any Sega game's weird to me, because it's just like, I've been brought up with it, so. Like, but really, I do think Sega's done one thing right, or like, one thing that I can say about Sega is they do have some really odd games. They definitely do. Like they're not afraid to be odd and different in a lot of ways, like other companies are. And that's one thing I'll definitely say that Sega are definitely not. Like they do things differently to other companies where most companies wouldn't definitely wouldn't do. Yeah, I need to. Oh yeah, that's where I need to go. I've gone the wrong way the whole time. I've gone the wrong way, but I needed those things for experience and stats so that I can get to the best part of the game, which is actually coming up quite close, to be honest. Well, technically Amusement Vision made F-Zero GX, which is kind of part of Sega now, a bit like how Trius is part of Nipro. It's like, at the time, Amusement Vision were kind of independent from Sega when they made F-Zero GX. But I can kind of see where you're coming from, because F-Zero GX is one of those games that didn't give a shit about, like, it was just going to be crazy as hell and did give no shit. Like, come on, Sega invented the toilet, for fuck's sake. The console that was basically designed around pissing for points. Like, when you have a console like that, then... Like, I will definitely say this, Sega have always been dominant in the arcade market. They're probably one of the few, like, one of the few companies that's still relevant in terms of arcades today. Like, they definitely are. Like, every time I go to an arcade, I see nothing but Sega games. Like, every single game I go to in an arcade is Sega related. Yeah, I think that's why they call them Amusement Vision, because they make games for amusement arcades. I don't know if there is a Super Monkey Ball amusement arcade machine, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was. Or maybe they're just Amusement Vision because their games are amusing. Yeah, the toilets is, only Sega could have come up with that idea. Let's put it that way. Only Sega could have come up with that idea. You couldn't have had any company come up with that idea other than Sega. It was a Sega idea. The thing about the toilet, though, is that it really... it needs to be released, like, over shores, really. And probably have, like, something that women could use as well. I don't know. But other than that, like, yeah, it's a pretty interesting concept. An F-Zero shitting game. Yeah, that'd be a interesting game, like. But no, actually, F-Zero on the F-Zero on the Sega toilet would be perfect. Like, the velocity of your urine would affect the speed of your machine. But yeah, the shitting the shitting game. Oh yeah, that I remember that. So I remember that one. Farting gives you boost power. Yeah, that would be brilliant. They need to find a way to combine the shitting experience with the pissing experience. I don't know if that's possible, but if they can find a way to do that, that would be pretty hilarious.
But I had such a hard time deciding where to get my first signet. I asked for it on my right cheek.
Like, farting definitely gives you boost power in more ways than one.
I must have been going through a rebellious phase. Yeah, that's it.
Like, it can also leave a stench that can knock away other racers off the track. Because they just, like, oh no, like, the noxious gases have arrived to knock us off the track. And then they all die, and yeah. Like, I don't know how, like, that's the thing, they need to combine both shitting, well, need to combine both farting and pissing to make such a game, like, to perfect it. They need to find a way to combine the two. Like, but that means pissing and shitting simultaneously. I don't think I'd buy a used one. Like, yeah, like, depends on whether they sell it separately with the system. If it's only with the system, yeah, that would be pretty shitty. Literally shitty. I have to go back round the back door, don't I? That's where I need to go. I've gone the wrong way. Like, shitty gameplay mechanics in a nutshell. That's what it is. It gives us it like brings a whole new meaning to shitty gameplay mechanics. Maybe that's what games have been missing all this time. Games need to be more shitty. That's what they need to be. We need to make games more shitty so that we get shittier games, if that makes sense. Like get some like, but then again, like I've got the answer to the future of gaming already. Like we have VR now. We don't need to have like toilets or anything like that that specifically are designed like that way. We could just make specific like special VR things that can like detect these things. Now that we have VR, like it's opened the doorway to new possibilities. Like if you think about it, because like you can actually be there and experience like something while you're taking the shit, rather than just like it like the VR experience would like it would be interesting, especially if you were drunk. That would be an interesting experience. It would probably be interesting to watch as well. Well, probably not. I probably wouldn't want to watch that, but it'd probably be pretty crazy if they had like VR at the same time. Like with VR you can do pretty much anything, let's be honest. And it makes sense because it's VR. Like adding VR to the shitting experience would be super crappy. Alright, sup JRPG. Yeah, Star Ocean the SNES Mini ones get one pre-order still in this month. Oh right, so you haven't got one yet, have you? Yeah, I haven't got one, and I'm probably not going to get one because I have an SNES of my own, and if I want to play the games, just emulate them or just play them on the SNES. That's the way I see it. I've got too many consoles. I just can't be getting any more of those consoles anymore. Like that's why I'm trying to go all PC, just simply because I've got so many consoles. Like the last thing I need is another box to have to put somewhere. Yeah, Walmart. I don't have a Walmart in my country, so I don't know what Walmart is. All I know is Asda. That's it. Or Aldi and Lidl. Those are what we get. We don't have anything called Walmart around here. We don't even have a GameStop. We have Game and we used to have Game Station, but yeah. I don't know if you guys actually were there, but I actually did a stream of Star Ocean 1 recently, but I actually took it down simply because I don't know, I'm thinking might do a let's play of it, I'm not sure. But yeah, I did a stream of that game. I did stream the intro, but another reason why is simply because it wasn't really fun to watch. I can definitely say that, like I was basically silent for most of it. Yeah, it definitely was a really fun game. Like it's the closest Star Ocean to this, basically, if that makes sense. Like, I need to get some MP, like, really low on MP. At the same time, I also need to stay away because of that gas attack. Like, they used gas to screw us over, so we need to deal with them. Like, I think Sega's proved to us that the possibilities are endless when it comes to gaming. Like, you can do pretty much anything and it makes sense because it's gaming. Like, you could probably have, like, I don't know, trying to think of other ideas that what you could do for gaming while you're doing it. I don't know. Like, I don't think a racing game in an actual car would be a good idea. That would screw everybody over, but it would be, like, imagine it if people, like, when you're driving your car, you're actually playing a racing game at the same time. Like, Imagine the roads. What would happen if people thought they were playing a racing game when they were in the car when actually they were actually driving on the real roads? That would be chaos. That would be like Carmageddon in real life, and not the shitty one. But it would be pretty shitty for everybody else because they'd be on the road, on the sidewalk, getting crushed. Yeah, like, I don't really have a Raspberry Pi at all, though. I don't know what the Raspberry Pi is all about, to be honest. It's like, what does it do that a PC doesn't do? I don't know. Like, I haven't really looked into that, to be honest. It's just like, I just use PC. If it works on PC, then I might as well just stick to PC. But this is what I've seen, at least. God, these enemies are insane. Like, these mushrooms are some serious mushrooms. It's like, it's one, like, I thought that the mushrooms in, like, I thought the mushrooms the characters were smoking in Kingdom Hearts were bad, but these mushrooms are serious business. That's a game I haven't played yet, Kingdom Hearts. And, to be honest, well, I've never had a reason to play it. Because they all look like pretty meh, I don't know. Maybe there's something good about them, who knows. Well, I suppose it's small and compact, but, like, the way I see it is, I've got a desktop PC, and I might as well use it, just use my desktop, I guess, because, like, God, I need to get some more of these teas, and lemon juice as well. I suppose that's one thing about it, though. If you don't want to use a PC, you can use that.
Once we're beyond Swordview, we should head southwest to find the western.
You can sit down on your couch and play them. I suppose, yeah, but I have my PC right next to my consoles anyway. Aside from my SNES and my Nintendo 64 and my original PlayStation and my GameCube, which are separate, all my consoles are right next to my PC, which is kind of a good thing since I can use my capture card to record directly from the console. Yeah, I was glad to basically pay for this game. And to be honest, I kind of owed it to them because, like, I've always ended up getting their games used up until now. I think where you're supposed to go now is the Cave tunnels. That's where you're supposed to go. Which is down here. I need to save. But yeah, I mean, that's the way I see about the Raspberry Pi, really. Like, it's just like, since I got my desktop PC, I just don't really see a reason to bother getting a Raspberry Pi. But, like, I suppose if you really want to play games on a, like, television, which personally I would rather play them on a PC monitor, because my TV is a standard definition television. It's a Digilogic, like, standard definition, big boxy television. It's not flat screen. It's a big boxy television that's all standard definition. You know the ones. That's my television. So, whereas my PC monitor is a Dell monitor, which isn't much better, but like, I'd still rather have that Dell monitor because the visuals look so much smoother than on my TV. Yeah, PSP really, like, I really just want more PSP games to come out on PC, to be honest. But then again, the optimization is apparently not good with those games. Like, how can, like, God Eater 2 come out on PC, and yet God Eater Burst, it doesn't come out on PC? Like, that game was horrendous to play on PSP because of the freaking controls. Like, how you had to use that thumbstick, but at the same time you had to move the camera with the, like, other stick, and, like, I had to have my fingers in, like, such awkward places to play that. Like, the thing about like the way I set up the controls of Star Ocean and SNES is completely different now. Like, it's a shame because I lost my data on Star Ocean 1 because my PC died, like my original PC, so I lost all my data for the original Star Ocean 1. That's part of the reason why I feel like Let's Playing it again, but when I get around to that Let's Play, I don't know if I do, but that's what I'm thinking of doing for the next Let's Play. Now, I've done Painkiller. I'm thinking of going on to that, because I do want to play through that game again. But I don't know how well I do, because my commentary for the, with Painkiller, it was just like, I could basically do it like a walkthrough and that lot, which was pretty cool and all, but my commentary for that might not be that great. That's the only thing that bothers me. When I have something to offer in terms of information, which I could in Painkiller, because it was kind of like a, it's a different game to an RPG, it's not focused on story, so I just talk about what I do in the level and why I do it and all that lot. Not really the case in, Star Ocean, because a lot of it's story. Yeah, they remade it on PS4, but they didn't bring it on freaking PC. Come on. You need to port these games to PC. Because, the problem is that, I'm getting too many consoles. I don't want to have to buy any more consoles. I just want everything to be on PC, so I can keep everything in one box, in one PC case, that I can just upgrade, and I never have to fill my freaking desk with consoles and freaking other shit. It's getting... Oh, whoops. There's only one person who could eat gods, and that's Joey's World Tour. He could eat a god, especially if it was a god burger. He would eat anything. He would eat manure just to record it, and he would do that just for money. He would probably do that. Seriously, as much as I really do love Ace's video of taking the piss out of Jay Frieden, that video was gold. That video was amazing, and the only way to truly understand how amazing that video was is if you know Jay Frieden or RPG Fanatic. But which let's put it this way, I used to watch him and I got into some drama with him, so yeah. But the thing about Acer is his video of freaking Joey's World Tour somehow managed to be better than his video taking the piss out of Jay Frieden. It was just perfect. It was absolutely hilarious. It really was brilliant. It just was amazing. I really did love that video taking the piss out of Joey, because it was something that was really needed. It was something that really just worked, because it was absolutely hilarious how how he just did that video, and how he started rubbing the burger all over his face. Yeah, I saw that one. I didn't really know what to say about Game Show Garbage. He's just... to be fair, he has the most fitting name of all time. He talks about game shows and he's garbage. That's basically it, really. But I definitely say his Joey one is the best. And his Jay Frieden one is the second best. The one that Jay Frieden tried to take down, like he does with every single video that mentions him. This video might be taken down because it mentions Jay Frieden's shit. And basically, it was basically him running, and he was talking about how sexy he looks, and yet he's drinking Sunny D, sat on a sofa, and and then he says, I'm gonna go running with all these weights on, and he starts just trotting, and he's yeah, I'm running super quick here, and then he starts doing all these martial arts, and starts kicking, and he's just kind of doing a Luigi emote kick, where he does this really low light kick to it, and it's just like, oh yeah, that's my roundhouse kick right there. Like you've got to watch it, you've got to see it to believe it. It was amazing. Yeah, he just looks like somebody who was really like, I don't know. Let's put it this way. He seems to be lacking in confidence to me. Like, he really does. Like, it's just like, that's basically the gist of it. I think that's one of the big issues with it. Like, you've got to have some level of confidence in certain ways, otherwise you'll make something cringeworthy. It's like, I'll admit, like, I'm not the best when it comes to coming up with the right things to say and confidence and video making, but like, at least I try and not like be cringeworthy with it. Oh yeah, you nailed it, Strider. You've seen it before. That was absolutely legendary, was that video, because it was freaking true. Like, it's just like, yeah, I'm in the military, bitch. Like, I lost my ball. I lost half my ball, like, in the war. Well, that was freaking hilarious. Like how, like, the thing about it is with JayFreeDAM is he had so much potential to be like a really big YouTuber. The biggest problem with JayFreeDAM or RPG Fanatic was the fact that he was just too arrogant. Like, he was just so vain and up his own asshole that he thought that he was like the best. He thought that he was on the same level. Like, he was so pretentious and like thought he was on the same level as like AVGN. Like, at the same time, he was basically just doing what AVGN was doing, and he thought he was basically like on the same level. It's just like, dude, like, stop trying to be like AVGN, like, and be yourself. And like, trying to do all those freaking skits and that lot that he did, it just doesn't suit him at all. You're trying to be an informative YouTuber. Don't try and be humorous when you're not funny. It's like me trying to be funny, and it's not what I do, because it's not what I'm good at. Focus on the information. At the same time, don't slate off other YouTubers just simply because they say something that is, like, that you don't agree with. Like, just don't do that shit. Like, and that's the thing, he just grew too arrogant, and now the last video he did was, I don't know, of an RPG Maker game he made, I think, and since then he's not done anything, which, I don't know, maybe he's busy on that RPG Maker game, or maybe he's just given up. These enemies look like something straight out of Dark Souls, really, don't they? They look like they've come straight out of Dark Souls. Yep, AVGN is... I never watched AVGN, to be honest, but apparently he's one of those YouTubers that used to be good and then he's gotten shittier over time. And yeah, every YouTuber's trying to be like him, and like Kermato is his name. Like, he, like, I'll give him something. He tries to like research things that he does, and he honestly had a lot of potential, like, to be something different. He just wasted it. Like, he completely wasted it. And like I used to be a fan of the guy because of like the fact that he did try to be something interesting. I thought, yeah, this guy might be going somewhere, but he just wasted that potential. Like, he decided, instead of being like a YouTuber that was going to like offer some interesting information and be informative, he decided instead to just like do a Kickstarter for this YouTube project and like just completely alienate his own audience for the sake of self-marketing. And it's just like, what a shame. Like, what a total shame. Yeah, it makes sense because Motoi Sakuraba did the music for both games, so yeah. But yeah, these guys definitely look like something out of Dark Souls. like a dark ocean. Like, imagine if Star Ocean was like suddenly super edgy and like the main character was Aromat. Yeah, that's what Dark Ocean would be like. The main character of Dark Ocean is Shadow the Hedgehog. Pretty much. Like, I wouldn't mind something where like the main character was like a bunch of edgy characters. That would be that would actually be pretty cool. Like, heck, I'm a fan of games like Chaos Legion, so I'm all for like edginess in a game, even if it's so edgy that it's funny. Like, I like that sort of thing because it's like so edgy, like it's just funny. That's what Chaos Legion is. It's like it's so edgy that it's freaking hilarious to play. Like, it really is. It's one of those games that you just, it's just like, it takes itself so seriously that you just can't help but think it's freaking hilarious. I just love games that do that, like, because it's just so easy to make fun of them, but at the same time Chaos Legion is a freaking awesome game to play, and it's like, it's fun to play as well. Star Ocean 6 should basically, like, give Edge Maverick a whole new meaning. That's what it should be. Like, the main character in Star Ocean 6 should be called Edge Maverick, but should be nothing like the original. Like, it's nothing like Edge Maverick from Star Ocean 5. Should just take his name and just make him like freaking Shadow the Hedgehog and just make him this edgy guy. That's what they should do. And just put Aromat in it as well, just for the sake of it, because he would be perfect in a dark Star Ocean game. Like, he would just make sense in that game. Like, he'd be like the perfect candidate for being the main character, to be honest. They should have really named Aromat Edge Maverick. They should have just given him Edge's name, and it would have made so much more sense. Because he is, well, I'm not sure about Maverick, but he's on the edge. He's definitely edgy as hell. Yeah, Chaos Legion is the one game that you play if you just want a load of like freaking edge to the max in like the rawest possible like way. Like, the entire game is just edgy, but that's the thing. Like, I'm gonna be the first person to say this, that I actually like edginess. Like, I like stuff that's edgy because I just think that it's either amusing or it's freaking awesome. And when I play a video game, I want to feel awesome. So give us something edgy. But if you're gonna do something edgy and you want to be taken seriously, make sure you do it right. It's like Raven's Cry, for example. Look at what happened with that game. A game that was supposed to be super serious and ended up being like the funniest, most hilarious game, one of the most hilarious games of all time. The villain who shouts maggot. Technically that's Albel, so Albel could be in the game as well. Like, Crispin Freeman would suit a game like that. Pretty much. Like, the game starts off like there's this like, to be fair, this game has like a lot of war elements in it. So that would work with that, but like the game starts off with this massive war, and people are bleeding to death, and then like the god of death shows up and kills everybody, and then darkness consumes the entire world. It's like Kingdom Hearts, but even more darkness. Yeah, Drakengard 3 has a lot of the voice actors that I like in it. Pretty much all of my favourite voice actors are in Drakengard 3. Pretty much. It's like, it's got like Cam Clark, it's got Liam O'Brien, it's got Tara Platt, it's got tons and tons of great voice actors in that game. But the problem with that game is the fact that the freaking combat moves at freaking 30 frames per second, and it's just, like, mainly because it just feels so freaking clunky when you have enemies that you can't, like, don't stagger at all, like those freaking knights. Oops. Trying to heal. Miki's no freaking MP, no wonder I'm having a hard time. I need to give her some blackberries. Yeah, Drakengard 3 is one of those games that's just, like, super dark for the sake of being dark in a lot of ways. Yeah, Lennis Faust had to, like, I think it was Megan Hollingshead, is it? I think that's it, yeah. She's in it as well. So yeah, they're all there, pretty much. But yeah, the one that stuck out to me was the one who voiced first, which was Tara. Oh crap, why did I used the wrong item. That's the reason why. I used freaking, like, blackberries again, and it's because I can't even properly read what I'm actually doing. And I accidentally used it right after she healed. But yeah, like I'd say that Tara Platt is probably the best female voice actor, in my opinion. She's just really good with female roles, like strong female roles, she just nails them. Like, but as far as like male VAs go, Liam's the best, in my opinion. Well, it's biased because I have Lazard as my avatar, so of course I'd say Liam's my favourite, but like still, they're all good. All the voice actors in Drakengard 3 are really, really good. Like they pick the best voice actors for the job. Yeah, I found that kind of weird because, like, playing a character like that it doesn't seem like something that she'd normally play. It's kind of like Lenneth is kind of like this stoic character who is like serious character in that way, but if you know what I mean. And then you see Five, who is basically just this freaking sex-obsessed goddess. Like, it just feels like a complete change of character. Like, it's just weird to see a character act like that when you've played a character as dignified as Lenneth. Yeah, she was Nurse Joy, which I think is hilarious considering that like Lucian in Valkyrie Profile 2 is voiced by Eric Stewart, which is the voice of Brock, which is freaking hilarious, pretty much. You know what? Screw this, I've had enough of this guy. If I can actually... Oh, I don't have enough thingy. That's not good. So I need to get some... use blueberry potion. Yeah, like... Oh yeah, she did play My Valentine, didn't she? I completely forgot who she was voiced by, to be honest. Right, so that's that guy. Let's finish this guy off. Yeah, this move's badass. Look at that. Just look at that, how much damage I dealt there. It's insane. That's why Victor's the best. Plus you get an epic line from Crispin Freeman as well at the same time. You can't really go wrong with that move. That's why it's always the rush move that I use, just simply because it deals a fuck ton of damage, and you get to hear like Crispin Freeman be a badass. Like a combination of two things that you can't really go wrong with. Like, I really should be paying more attention to what's actually going on here. Like, he's not going for me, so I can just basically fuck him up while he goes for Miki. Yeah, that's more like it. So yeah, you want to use a normal attack, or no, you didn't. Oh well. Yeah. Use that move. Yeah, it's difficult to avoid his attacks because he's using a lot of strong attacks. Yeah, I think a lot of voice actors were 4Kids voice actors. Pretty much. Yeah. Now I can use this again. Yeah. This is gonna seriously fuck him up. Look at that health. Look at how much health that took off him. And he's down. Good. there's the Dark Souls duo dead.
Looks like I'm gaining on my father.
Yeah, like, as I say, like, aside from Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, I really don't know much about, like, anime, really, and the voice actors who did it. Like, I only know those two, really. Because everybody knew about those two, really. That's probably why. But yeah, 4Kids, like, it's like everybody knows them, so that's one thing that's good about hiring them. Everybody knows them, and I wouldn't say they've aged badly as voice actors, really. Like, they're still pretty good as voice actors. It's just the direction, really. Like, that's the thing. Like, when it comes to voice acting, like, they all start in theatre, and then they all go to, like, anime, and then some of them go to games, you know what I mean? That seems to be the case, really. But it's like, you can't, like, the thing about the voice actors is, I don't think there's such thing as a bad voice actor or a good voice actor. It's all about the direction that they are given with their voice, really. The voice director is the key to everything. I mean, look at Matthew Mercer playing Edge Maverick in Star Ocean 4, for example. Like, that was horrendous. But it wasn't him that was horrendous about it. It was the freaking direction that was terrible. I mean, yeah, you get voice actors on the street, but most of the bad voice actors are in games like Chaos Wars and like indie games where they just bring people off of the street, and it's pretty easy to tell when they are just terrible and reading off a script because they have no emotion at all. Whereas in most games, like, it's not that big of a deal. Heck, like, some of the, like, mods for, like, some people have made mods for Warcraft 3, and some of the voice actors are actually not that bad. Yeah, like, he's a live actor. Like, which is pretty, like, insane. Like, some people, like, some people make bigger careers out of video game voice acting. Pretty much. Like, he always played the tough guy in Tony and Clark, didn't he, really? Pretty much. That's what he seems to be the best at doing. He's the tough guy, like, Cam Clark and Crispin Freeman are, like, the heroic guy. Like, I'm still wondering, like, and I really want to know this, is the main character from Gothic 3 voiced by Crispin Freeman? Because I swear he is. Because, like, he's just got that attitude about him that's just so, like, I don't know, he's kind of got that, like, he talks smack to people and doesn't give no shits sort of thing to him. Like, when I played Gothic 3, like, and there's literally a section where the character's like, this character's like, oh, I haven't been fighting, and, like I've given up my career because I lost this one drinking battle, and it's like, that's because you were weak. Which I find is weird, like, he just gives no shits in that game. If that is him, like, I don't even know if it is him. Like, there's so many voice actors that haven't been credited for roles, but you can kind of tell the voices. Like, I swear that Gothic 3's main character is voiced by Crispin Freeman, and it's like Balnazar from Warcraft 3, I swear he's voiced by Paul St. Peter. Totally not credited, but I can tell by the voice. And, like, I'd like to know these things if they were, like, to make sure they're true, because, like, it just sounds so similar to that voice. Really. To be honest, like, I haven't really experienced that much of Matthew Mercer besides Star Ocean 4. Really. All I know is he's played Leon from Resident Evil and that lot. But, yeah, like, that's mainly all I know about him, really. I'm sure he's done other roles, obviously, but yeah, and Edge Maverick, of course. Oh yeah, we're getting to the best part of the game here. He played Alvin? He must have had a different voice when he played Alvin. Like, Alvin was interesting because he kind of sounded similar to that of Troy Baker in that game, and either that or Troy Baker and Nolan North style voice to him. That's kind of what I got from his voice. Very similar style, but that's interesting. I know he played a character in Exist Archive. He played Mitsuhide in Exist Archive. I know he played that. But like, aside from that, like, I didn't know he played Alvin. Like, I had no idea, because his Alvin voice sounds so much like something that it sounds something like Nolan North or Troy Baker style. Yeah, like, I get Troy Baker and Nolan North confused all the time. Like, it's just so similar. I suppose it's all about accents, really. It's like, you can, like, everybody has different accents, and the accent just really comes out of the voice, and you can tell, oh, this is so-and-so accent, so it must be this character. Oh no, it's another person who, it must be this voice actor, but it's actually another voice actor because it's just they have the same accent, or something like that. Yeah, I still haven't got the lockpicking skill yet, have I? Because there is a treasure chest around here, I think. Oh, is there? I've forgotten. Or is it behind us? Or is it this side? Or not? Maybe it's not. Oh well. Time to do the best part of the game. Unfortunately, I have the sound down on my TV, which is a shame. I'll pull it up a bit because I do like the music that plays in this next bit. Not that you'll be able to hear it any louder, I'm just listening to the sound of this section because it's awesome. This is what every game needs to do. Pretty much. This is what I want to see in Star Wars Until the End of Time in the battle between Eraglyph and Aquaria. This needs to happen. Like, just imagine that. Like, the battle that happened there in that game was just, ugh, like, it just made no sense. Like, I wanted to see action. In this game, you get to see the action. You get to see everybody killing people. Like, you get to see death everywhere. Like, why is that so hard to do in Star Wars Until the End of Time? Like, yet so easy to do in this. I understand it was an old game, but why couldn't you do that in a remaster of Star Wars Until the End of Time? I honestly don't know. Like, that would be so awesome. Yeah, like, I don't know about, like, a lot of people say Steve Blum is like, he does everything. Yeah, I can't even think of anything that Steve Blum has ever done. Like, he doesn't stand out to me. I don't recognize him, like, for his voice at all. I don't recognize Steve Blum as, like, I've never really heard many of his roles at all. But everybody says he does everything, and it's just like, maybe he has done something and I just haven't realised. It's like, I do realise some of Troy Baker's roles. Like, he played Yuri Lowell, and he played the guy in The Last of Us, Joel, and, you know, that's basically two of the roles that I remember from him. But, like, from, like, what's his name? I forgot, Steve Blum, like, I don't even know who he's done. But yeah, this section is just freaking badass. Like, you just go straight into this battle. Like, more RPGs need to do this, where you're actually getting in these huge, like, wars on the battlefield. Like, infiltrating a town. Yeah, that's the thing, like, he's considered to have more video game roles than anyone, but I've never heard him, like, I've never really, I don't know any roles that he's had. Like, I can't think of, like, any roles that he's done. Oh, sup, Swordfish. Playing for a game that you don't like. But yes, we're getting to this boss fight that is coming up, and it's pretty awesome. Oh, that was a great start, wasn't it? Have to deal with the ads first. Yep, I don't really know many Steve Blum roles, to be honest. Oh, they're going after me here. I need to find where the other guys are targeting, because I know they're targeting that guy. And basically take care of the ads first, and then we can deal with this guy. Who is, like, totally not Albel. Yeah, like, what roles has he played, though? That's what I want to know. Like, if you could tell me what roles he's played, then that would be nice to know, like... Because I honestly haven't paid much attention to any of them. I love how I can use the same move as him. Like, he just uses that attack and then I can counter him with the same attack. Pretty much. Really, Fidel, I should be switching to Fidel because he has a pretty awesome counter attack. Yeah, he has the best counter attack, so I'll be using his for this one. Very easy to counter this guy to death. Whoops. Got hit by the other guy in the back. Yeah. Like, as I say, it's just, it might be because I haven't played many games with him that are in it. Like, that he's in. That might be why. Yeah, now I can swap back to him now. That might be an interesting thing to do. Play more games with him in it, but... a beta testing for an update. Come to think of it, I did have to update my system when I started up my PS4 today to do the stream. I don't know why, like, I don't know what that update was for, but maybe it is that beta update, I don't know. But yeah, like I haven't really played Still Devil's Dagger at all, to be honest. Like, it was, like, I played a bit of Nocturne, didn't get into it as much as I played with the Shin Megami Tensei games, but I will definitely say out of all of them, the like Devil's Saga and Devil's Summoner games seem the most interesting of the bunch to me. But like it's getting around to them and like I don't know. It's like, well, I suppose like the one voice actors that do a lot of roles and are known for doing a lot of roles.
Vesuvian soldiers have been spotted infiltrating the eastern gates. We'll be caught between two separate forces if we don't do something.
I'll show those plane squatters mercy this time. Come on, you bastards, let's pull.
One thing I'll definitely say about this villain is his voice actor is pretty, like, I just love how he's just got this really brutish voice actor. He kind of reminds me of, like, Kyle... like, that's the thing, like, how do you pronounce his last name? Apparently it's Abear or something. I don't know if that's his last name based on what apparently people said, but it reminds me of his voice as Zunde from Valkyrie Profile 2.
You promised us. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like... yeah, Roger Jackson.
I'm gonna punch the living daylights out of them, and I definitely will. What are you doing? Why won't you let me at them?
Punching them won't solve any of our problems, Miki. The only thing it'll prove is that your fist can
Yeah,
be used
I like brutish voice actors.
What are we going to do now? It seems as if we vastly underestimated the extent to which Chronos values Ryu. We never thought they would go to such lengths to obtain her. And as you already know, we have...
Yeah, I'm not in, like, the thing about it is like, it's all about pacing to me, like, turn-based games just, I don't know, like, it's difficult to get into them for me now, like, I'm more into action games now, like, action RPGs.
Did you also lose all that stuff along with your ship?
What stuff?
You know, the data
But yeah, it's got out of all that hectic battling. That was just crazy as hell.
I guess I got mentally tripped up too. So, you might have something after all.
We'll go right to the symbological research
But
facility.
yeah, like,
and prove the data
I
there.
suppose,
How long will that take?
1 or 2 hours at most.
yeah, like,
Don't come back empty-handed.
probably the better one for me, like I mentioned before, like, that's probably the better one for me.
Situation permitting, I'll
It's,
also
like, but, ultimately, as I say, like, there's just so many games nowadays, like, you just, like, I still need to finish Nier Automata, I still need to finish the Odin Sphere remaster, I still need to finish Shadow Warrior even.
They left behind some
Like, there's so many games, like, I'm trying not to get a huge backlog as well. That's what it's all about, pretty much. That's what I'm trying to avoid, and I'm trying to focus on specific games.
that research facility.
Is Relia there?
Digital Devil Saga was on
I
Dreamcast?
can't say for
Like,
sure.
what?
It is, however, worth investigating.
I thought it was on PS2, maybe it was on Dreamcast, I wouldn't know.
The unfortunate thing is we haven't identified its location.
But you know where to start.
One series that I
Very well.
do have a little bit of interest in looking into is the Dot Hack games that you mentioned, because they're coming to PC, so
We have techniques
I don't
that
know,
the
like,
people on your planet
maybe that's something worth looking into, I don't know.
symbology.
Like, I'd like someone's opinion on those games, because they sound pretty interesting to me, but I don't know, apparently Making X,
Wow, from my point of view, you two can do almost anything. We have no recourse since there is no database from which to draw precedent. Also, I'd mentioned
but yeah, that, those are what I've been looking at.
advanced as our symbology. You think so?
But yeah, it's like, apparently it's kind of a bit more actiony as
If my
well.
theory is correct, then we could analyze the various energy wave patterns emitted by signaturgical
So
techniques.
what is Making X again? Like, I've completely lost it. The, like, and what's the difference between the original and Hack GU? What's the difference between those? Like, is there a difference in combat?
If you were just a nosy scholar, my only response would be 3 swift kicks to the shins. But for real,
I'm completely lost on this. What,
So very much.
I'm getting butterflies in my stomach.
like, what is Making X and what is Making Showa? Like, what are they related to?
Process immediately. Afterwards, I'll set to analyzing all the information we obtained.
Ah, first-person sword fight game.
Depending on the volume of data,
A bit like Shadow Warrior,
exceedingly long time.
but that's a first-person shooter as well.
It is what it is.
Heck, you could also argue Skyrim's a first-person sword fighting game as well. Then again, you could also argue Mountain Blade is first-person sword fighting because you can go into first person in that game.
There's no need to get anxious now. Let's get some sleep and then reconvene on the morrow.
Ah, so, like, the thing about it is, it depends. Like, apparently all the Dot Hack games are released in a collection, so is that game going to be released in the collection? Because it might be worth trying out. It's something different, you know what I mean? That's what I'm looking for, you know what I mean? Something that's a bit... And it's like, this is coming from someone who didn't mind the plot twist in Star Wars Until the End of Time. So, yeah, like... So, I like different things. Yeah. It's a bit, so it's a bit like Odin Sphere Remaster then, is it? Like, because that's an example of combat being moved out. I've completely forgotten where I need to go now. Like, honestly, I've forgotten where, I suppose I stay at the inn. Yeah, I think I remember that's what you do. But yeah, it's a bit like Odin Sphere's remaster. Like, the original Odin Sphere's combat was just an absolute nightmare. But then when the remaster came, like, the combat was just so good. Like, yeah, like, I'll probably end up playing them all, just to make my own judgment on them. But, as I say, like, it's probably one of the games that I've been looking towards, if anything. Just simply because it's been released on PC. I want to support more games on PC, so I'd be willing to play that game.
What the? Did people leave or something?
I don't know what it is with like JRPGs and the main character always oversleeping. Yep, it does. Like, but Thousand Three to me, the problem with that game was the fact that the item creation was replaced with the invention system that just eats your full. And the Ursa Lava Caves as well, that place was a nightmare.
Out with it. What are you doing this late at night? Nothing much. I'm so sorry I couldn't keep my promise to protect you.
I don't think it's just a typical anime hero thing, it's something that I do as well, so...
I know full well that Amelia's predicament isn't your guys' fault. If anyone should be sorry, it's me. There's no excuse for the way I behaved toward you recently. And with that manly apology of yours goes the last shred of my dignity. I know you feel bad. Amelia's safety is more important than any of our feelings. I can't get her back.
Yeah, like,
You have
of all the games to come out on PC, Dot Hack Remaster, like, that's pretty much the most interesting thing. The best part about it is it's an MMO that, like, it's supposed to be based around an MMO, but at the same time, it's not an actual MMO. And that's the good thing, like, it's an MMO that doesn't have always online DRM, which kind of comes with all MMOs really. So you don't have to worry about losing all your progress, but you still get the, like, the simulation of playing an MMO, which it's like you're playing an MMO simulation, like you're simulating playing an MMORPG. It's a bit like the Onion, like when they did that Onion News thing in World of Warcraft. That's basically what I'm seeing from it. Just crazy shit. Yeah. And it has an ending, I suppose. I'm still waiting for World of Warcraft to basically end so that they can just rewrite the entire plot
Done with the analysis?
That we are, sir.
and then make a Warcraft 4 which starts it all over again,
Banks of the Isop River and Tree
but this time make the plot less shitty.
Some other type of structure?
According to our map, there are no visible
Like,
man-made structures.
MMOs shouldn't really have a story at all, as far as I'm concerned. Like, I just really hate how, like, you have, like, an awesome story with Warcraft 3, and then suddenly, like, an MMO is released, and then everything is fucked because of the way the MMO is designed to, like put you in the position, like, of either Alliance or Horde. If you're not in the Alliance or Horde, you're basically either neutral or you're evil. Like, yeah, like, it's such a shame that World of Warcraft ended, like, the World of Warcraft became a thing to begin with. Like, World of Warcraft should never have existed. Like it really shouldn't. Like, we should have just got a Warcraft 4 where, like, to be fair, like, bringing back certain characters that I do like was cool, even though they've already killed them. Like, some of, like, there was some really good books written around Warcraft, like, for example, the, like, Lord of the Clans was a really good book. That's a great book. But, like, the thing about World of Warcraft is they butcher, like, everything that's remotely good about the lore, and it's just, it pisses me off, because it's like when I play a game for story, those are the games that I play because I really like the Warcraft universe. I really do. It's got a great universe and setting. But
Girls grow up so fast. I almost didn't recognize you.
Thank you so very much.
yeah, well,
You're starting to look
I doubt they
exactly
will. Like, they just completely gave up on the RTS, really. And even if they did in Warcraft 4, I doubt they'd make the story good anyways.
And Finley.
Yeah, they did. he did, and it was pretty cool. I liked the Warcraft movie. I thought it was pretty good, mainly because it wasn't to do with World of Warcraft at all. It went back to Warcraft 1. Yes, it changed a few things that didn't really make any sense, but at least they kept it mostly good. At least it wasn't stupid. I understand why they did, because it would have been like when you offering a game to people who don't know anything about the lore, or, well, not a game, a movie to people who don't know anything about the lore, and they see the orcs win, that people would get pissed off about that. Like, no, the humans should have won. Like, the humans should have won, but like, so I kind of see why they made it so the humans won, but like, as I say, like, that's not how it went. Like, that's not how it went down. The orcs just totally thrashed the humans so badly that they had to sail up north to Lordaeron and warn them. And then Orgrim Doomhammer just backstabbed Blackhand and, yeah, took the reins of Warchief. And he was a badass. And he's still a badass in the movie as well, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's definitely, it is somewhat faithful to the lore in a way, so you gotta give it that much. It's not like the perfect, like, it's not like perfectly accurate. Like, there are changes in the movie that weren't actually in the actual lore, but I'm just glad that we get to actually see an actual Warcraft movie, like, just, like, particularly of Warcraft 1, because there was, like, aside from The Last Guardian, there were no books written about Warcraft. Like, that was the only one, like, the only one that was written about Warcraft 1, and, like, there were a few in the Warcraft Legends, I suppose. Oh, what? I've gone the wrong way. But the ones in the Warcraft Legends were, like, they were, like, mini things, like, mini books of small events that happened in the Warcraft universe. Like, but, like, we never really got, like, a full, like, detailed book about the First War. We got one about the Second War, which was Tides of Darkness, and we got one of the Third War, which was Arthur's Rise of the Lich King. But we never got one that was of the First War, not a proper one. And the Warcraft movie kind of fills in that gap, kind of. Like, one thing that I was a bit, like, one thing that I didn't really care much for was how they designed Karazhan in the movie. Like, if you were to read the book about Karazhan, then Karazhan is basically a really fucked up place. Like, it really is. Even in the games, like, even in World of Warcraft, it's still a fucked up place. But in the movie, it's like this bright, like, tower, and there's not much to it. It's a tower that feels alive. In fact, I would actually go so far to say that, like, Medivh is basically the Warcraft equivalent of Lazard from Valk Profile. That's basically what he is. He is basically the Lazard of Warcraft. And Karazhan is his tower. So, basically imagine Lazard's tower from Valk Profile. That's basically what Karazhan is. It's basically a tower that's just filled to the brim with powerful magical energies. And filled with, like, illusions of the future, of countless events, and, like, you could die just by, like, opening a book, because, like, they're all rigged, and, like, everything's just, like, creepy, and, like, it's just got this really creepy ambience to it, because, like, Medivh experimented with all kinds of magic, like, dark magic, and all that lot, and, like, but he also did other magic, like druidic magic, pretty much all magics. He was, like, as I say, he's the Lazard of the game. He's basically one of the most powerful mages in existence. Obviously, his mother was more powerful, though, but, like, well, that is a human. He's the most powerful human mage, besides his mother, but, like, he knew a lot about magic, and, like, the tower was just ominous because of all the magic. Like, it was filled with magic so much that it was to the point that it was just creepy. But in the movie, it's just depicted as this regular-ass, like, tower. And, I mean, Medivh is portrayed in an interesting way. He kind of looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not Obi-Wan Kenobi, it reminds me of Qui-Gon Jinn. Not Obi-Wan. And, yeah, I think that's not the right way, that's the way to another area later on. This is the way forward. But yeah, he kind of looks like him, and he's kind of like this, like, he's kind of portrayed to be like this really introverted guy who's like this is, like, I just want to do my own thing, but at the same time I'm kind of friendly with the humans. But in the games he's more friendly with the orcs and the humans together in a way. No, I've seen that Tower movie, really. To be honest, I haven't really watched movies and that lot much, really. I don't really watch movies much, to be honest, as much as I'd like to. Ah, right, you got to Lazard. At least you did Lazard's Tower. I didn't. Like, I didn't do Lazard's Tower at all, because I got screwed over in that place, because the enemies kicked my ass before Lazard did. Yeah. But if you left the tower, then you might as well just skip it. If you went out the tower to heal or something, or to do something, like, you might as well just skip the entire tower, because you've missed out on the A ending, I'm afraid. But yeah, that's basically the thing about Karazhan. It's like, not happy with how they did it. But other than that, like, the movie was still pretty good. Like, I like the portrayal of the orcs. The orcs were portrayed really well. Particularly Orgrim, because he is a badass, so I'm glad that they kept him a badass in the game. And that lot. Yeah. I don't even know if he uses that. He uses in Valkyrie Profile 1 he uses a completely different move, if I recall. I think he uses, like, I forgot what it is. It's like, I don't think it's Cosmic Spear, or is it? I'm not sure. But he has a completely different special, if I recall. And I think it was Cosmic Spear, I'm not sure. It was definitely a dark attack, but it wasn't exactly Meteor Swarm. But I've completely forgotten which one it was. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was Cosmic Spear, because I do kind of recall it was. But Meteor Swarm was... I think that might have... Like, it was definitely a spell that he used when you get him in the Seraphic... Yeah, he definitely uses it, but I don't think he used it in the boss fight against him. In the tower, at least. Like, I think he used Cosmic Spear in that one, if I can recall. Maybe he did, I don't know. But you can definitely use Meteor Swarm. Mystic Cross, I'm not sure about that. I think... No, he uses Prismatic Missile and stuff like that in his tower. Alright, I'll see you on your stream, Barrow. But yeah, that's the thing about it, you see. Like, I remember he used Meteor Swarm. Like it was a usable spell for him, but I don't remember how, like, when he did. I don't remember when he did a, like, Meteor Swarm in that battle. I know he does in, like the Seraphic Gate, I think, because there is a Seraphic Gate battle against him, but I don't know if he does it in that, because I never got that far. Like, by experience playing Valkyrie Profile 1, not much, to be honest. Like, I skipped a lot of dungeons, not knowing where I was going, and yeah. But it's one of those games that I had to watch the cutscenes to truly get it, because otherwise I wouldn't have understood it. Oh god, we're going to this section now. This will be fun. But yeah, I'll probably call it a stream after this one section, because I've been streaming for 3 hours. We'll see how well I do it, but it shouldn't be too difficult, because I do have Victor, but it's going to be rough. Yeah, I went into a lot of dungeons under leveled in that game. Pretty much. But, like, that's basically what his tower reminded me of them. Like, that's basically what Karazhan is basically supposed to be like. This dark, creepy tower. And all that lot. Yeah, I need to go down here, and yeah, you basically have to find something. But first I'm going to obtain this chest.
Captain, I'm picking up a small spike in those unknown energy waves.
Where's the source?
Yeah, the only difference between Lazard and Harry Potter is Harry Potter isn't completely potty. But yeah,
Man, you found any hints yet?
Sorry, nothing of
here it
note.
is.
Please inform me if this
This must be.
the unidentified energy in this
Yeah,
spot is
he's more like Voldemort. Actually, he's more like Snape than anything, really. It's Lazard.
Perhaps the facility is below ground, and they transport themselves into and out of it.
That makes sense. Although, if the transport system were to break down, they'd be buried alive. Therefore,
This section is a pain, but after this section, I'll be off.
It's optically cloaked, so I'll try hacking the system once I've
Mainly because I also want to watch Bio's stream when he does it as well.
This area is too wide open. They'll be seen if we stay here much longer.
But it has been fun. Oh boy, here we go. I think it might actually be better not to use Victors here. Crap, this is bad. Let's make sure Anne does not die. Right, I'm probably going to want to... Yeah, I'm probably going to want to change to Fidel for this one because... Like, I think that Ethereal Blast would probably be a bit more... Oh crap, yep. Yep, we got screwed. Yep, I knew this battle was going to be a pain in the neck. Yep, this is the battle that I was talking about earlier on in the stream. It's absolute nightmare. Why am I that far back? This was the one. Oh, whoops. I want to load the game, please. It has about as the same amount of ending. Like, it has one ending for every character, so 7 endings, because Relio's endings included. But I think it might have. I'm not sure. Like, I got Emerson's ending when I played the game, and I also got Miki's ending in the Japanese version. That's all I know. And I got Miki's ending mainly because I didn't know what to do in the battle action because it was all in Japanese.
I don't see anything.
I'll retrace the wave's path.
Like, it's kind of funny, but because what I'm actually going to do in the future,
Found any hints
and I probably recommend other people do the same as well, to be honest, is I'm gonna probably, like, when it comes to reviewing Japanese games, I'm thinking of just importing them because, like, I think people care more about reviews when the game isn't released yet, and that's why I'm thinking maybe I should just import games so I can do reviews of them then. But like as I say, I think it's something that game reviewers might want to look into doing a lot more often because, let's be honest, like, if you're a game reviewer and you're not like on a big site or you're like a very big game reviewer, you're gonna get screwed over by the big people who get all these like free copies of games like early before everybody else. But yeah, just constantly watch Anne's health. That's my advice for this section. And she dies very quickly. And yeah, I need to... This would be a good time to use this. Yeah, this is... I need to go for someone closer. Come on, you've got to heal her. quickly. Damn it. Yeah, Final Fantasy 2 had tons of endings. And I think it's mainly because, like, it wasn't just characters paired with the main character. Like, I remember I got Bowman and Leon's ending in that game. Mainly because I used Bowman a lot. I don't know how Leon got into it, because I don't know about him. Maybe the private actions I did made Leon happy or something. I don't know. But Bowman and Leon got their ending, and it was basically just... It was a cool ending, made sense, but yeah. That's what you get for maining Bowman, I guess. Yeah, I keep forgetting to grab that item, but this battle is a pain in the neck because Anne dies so quickly. That's why I gave her all defensive rolls. In fact, I'm going to make sure that she has, like, all her rolls leveled up. Yeah, Bowman is quite cool to use. Like, I would say he's pretty fun to use. But he's known for being, like, the spam character that you just spam, like, moves to death with.
Picking up a small spike in those unknown energy waves.
Where's the source?
Yeah, I never got Precis.
I don't see anything.
I'll retrace the wave's path.
I do need to replay that game, but once I get a release that isn't on the PSP, then I might consider replaying it. They should just totally port the original Star Ocean 2 to PlayStation 4. Not just the remaster, just port the original Star Ocean 2 to the PS4, the one that was released on PlayStation 1.
That's a pretty massive reading.
That is ridiculously expensive. Just do that. And do the same with the SNES version of Star Ocean 1. Like, they need a port. Forget the remakes. Like, I want to hear Diaz's awesome voice in Star Ocean 2, like the second story.
We can't rule out the possibility that it's
Yeah, I need to replay. I tried replaying it on Universe, but I got my ass handed to me. In the South Caverns. Like, playing Star Ocean 2 on Universe is harder than playing Tales of Symphonia on Mania. And I'm having a hard time playing Tales of Symphonia on Mania as well. But yeah, I don't really want to go that far in. All I want to do is focus on the targets that are close up and just basically... The one time that I could really use... Like, can you not use the animation please so that I can heal Anne? Oh dear. Yep. This is going to take a while. I think what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to just use my finisher. That's the best thing to do here. Just use my reserve rush straight away. Like, but the problem is it gets harder and harder the more you kill. I don't want to waste my reserve rush. But it might be handy because these guys are freaking pain in the neck. And this is chaos difficulty. We're in the second. We just entered the second part of the game, I suppose.
Captain,
The second half of the game, I think, was just entered.
Where's the source?
in this vicinity, apparently.
I don't see anything.
I'll retrace the wave's path.
Yeah, we just entered the second half of the game, really.
This must be.
The unidentified energy in this spot is at the maximum magnitude that can be recorded.
That's a pretty massive reading, but there's no semblance of a building.
So yeah, it's a pain in the neck because we need to...
And they transport themselves into and out.
Maybe Fiore's would probably be the best
The
to
transport
use, I
system
don't
will
know.
break down. They'd be buried alive. Therefore, there has to be an emergency exit.
We can't rule out the possibility that it's optically cloaked, so I'll try hacking the system once I find the next...
I think what I can do...
Do it.
What I should... Oh yeah, this is what I'll do. I'll use some food because I need to eat food. Yeah, you can easily get this game now. Which one is the best for defense? And yeah, I'll have that.
This area is too wide open
and I'll increase the defense. Well, yeah, that will increase the defense a little, but what I want to do is probably this will be handy.
Keep that underlying principle in mind. Final dystopia.
You almost done?
In a bit, sir.
Right, let's make sure Anne is healed at all times. Well, they're dead.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I need to target this big guy here because he's going to pose a threat. And I need to get... Where is it? If I can find it. Yeah, I'll give this to Anne here. But I can't do anything right now because I'm knocked down. Now I need to use a physical stimulant because I'm going to just get her health up. No. Not happening, is it? Yeah, that's odd. Like, I always question that. But I suppose the games didn't really go that far. They just wanted to have like space exploration or and that lot in it. That's basically what they were saying. Like, it's mostly focused on the technology than anything else. That's what it's mostly focused on in this game. But yeah, I'm gonna give this one more go. If I can't do it this time, I'll just try it next time. I think I'll need to fiddle around with roles a bit. I think what I'll need to do is level up Vanguard a bit more. Max that out. And then I will get stamina instead. That might be handy. And make sure that they're set. Oh, she doesn't have any rolls. No wonder that I was having a hard time. Yeah, I need to give her defensive thingy, stamina. Yeah, that explains everything. And Vanguard, and yeah, I hope that I can find this thing because I think that it's there, but I don't know where it is. If I can find it, where is it? Princess, that's the one that I wanted. And at the same time, I want to eat a pasta thingy. That way I get some extra defense. That will help out, and just heal as well. Make sure I can heal. Yeah, that always bothered me, pretty much. But that's the thing. It also bothered me that they're all, for the most part, humanoids. Like, you'd think that there'd be some like less humanoid creatures and stuff. But like, this game especially doesn't really have any alien-like life forms to speak of, really.
That's a pretty massive reading.
Unless you could argue that Fiore's tail is real, then you could argue she's a Felpool, but
That makes sense.
we don't know.
If the transport system were to break down, they'd be buried alive. Therefore, there has to be an emergency exit.
I mean, technically, wouldn't Emerson be technically part Nedian? Because he's already mentioned that he's a Kenny, so wouldn't he technically be a Nedian? Because he is an ancestor of Reyna, so where's his pointy ears? Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do now. Just screw it. Can't really go wrong with an Imperial Blast, can you? Let's be honest. It's all about tanking these guys. And just making sure you can get that reserve rush back. Oh, crap. Wrong character. I want to go onto this character so that I can... Yeah, now we can deal with this guy. Now that I've got the right rolls, you see, it's not as tough. Right, so this guy I need to deal with here. Let's see if I can use one of the bombs. I can use a stun bomb on him. Maybe that'll be a good idea. And then I can use this. Yeah, well, he's not their kid, oh crap, yeah. That preparation took too long. Needed to kill that guy faster. Oh well. So yeah, I'll probably finish this guy off next stream. But yeah. But yeah, yes, he is basically, Claude and Reyna are Emerson's ancestors, basically. That's basically what they are. And Reyna is like not his mother, and Claude is not his father, like, because this is set many years after Star Ocean 2. It's just that they are his ancestors. That's basically the gist of it. So you'd think that he'd have pointy ears like Reyna does, if you think about it, but he doesn't, which is odd. But he does have the blue hair that Reyna has, so that's something. That kind of gives it away that he's related to Reyna. So yeah, anyways, I'm done with this stream. I'll stream another time and carry on with this. I will beat it at some point. It's just that this boss is a pain in the neck, so when I get to a point where I do beat it, then yeah, I'll carry on. So I'll see you later, Strider, and see everyone else off. See you guys.